is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. Samples flown to the U.S. in the Sandals death cases. Toxicology results expected within days. 4 accused of trying to kill cops. And rising costs piling onto daily pressures of living. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Tuesday, May 10th, 2022. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Don Sargent will be joining us. Also this morning, we'll tell you about a special education program recruitment drive, a mental health counseling program, and how you can be a part of that. And later in Morning Blend Business, we kick off a new monthly series with the Consumer Protection Commission, looking at consumer issues and what you need to know to be a better consumer today. We're going to be discussing that, especially in light of the hurricane season, just weeks away now. And again, this is a new monthly partnership with the Consumer Protection Commission that we kick off today in Morning Blend Business. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, authorities have sent blood samples taken from the bodies of 3 Americans found dead at Sandals Emerald Bay Resort in Great Exuma to a lab in Philadelphia for examination, and results are expected within 7 days. That's according to Police Commissioner Paul Roll. He said yesterday at a press conference that the pathologist has extracted samples from all of those involved for examination, and they're actively engaging a lab in Philadelphia to assist with expediting the toxicology results from all the samples. The commissioner also said the victims had all gone to the health center in Georgetown complaining of illness on Thursday before being found dead on Friday. Roll says that they had eaten different things and they were all treated at different times. And they ate at different places, so they're checking into all of those matters. The victims were officially identified yesterday as well as 68-year-old Michael Phillips and 65-year-old Robbie Phillips from Tennessee and 64-year-old Vincent Chiarella from Florida. Chiarella's wife, Donis Chiarella, who's 65 years old, was found alive and is now in the hospital in Florida, still in serious condition. The couples were staying in separate villas next to each other in the same building at the resort, according to officials with Sandals. According to police, shortly after 9 a.m. on Friday, officers were informed by resort staff that a man was found in one of the villas unresponsive, while en route police were informed that an additional man and woman were found unresponsive in another villa. Meanwhile, Sandals Emerald Bay says they're experiencing minimal cancellations after those guests died at the property. Acting Prime Minister Chester Cooper also stressing the primary focus is currently dealing with the families of the individuals involved. Cooper says the government has been in active conversations with executives at the resort. A man in his early 70s killed after his vehicle crashed into a building on Chesapeake Road shortly after 8 o'clock yesterday morning. Officers responding to the scene found a silver 1997 Honda CR-V lodged into a single-story structure. Police saying that both the vehicle and the structure received extensive damage. 4 men accused of opening fire on an occupied patrol car on April 30th, charged with attempted murder. Prosecutors alleged that 29-year-old Shaquille Monroe, 28-year-old Roger Wallace, 18-year-old Raquan Alexis, and 19-year-old Algeron Stubbs tried to kill Sergeant Seymour, 2185 Seymour, and Police Constable 3814 McKenzie. According to police, the officers encountered the men while responding to a complaint about a prowler on premises. After a short pursuit, the suspects allegedly opened fire on the patrol car with a Glock 17 pistol and an AK-47 assault rifle. In addition to the attempted murder charges, the men are charged with possession of weapons to resist arrest and to endanger the lives of the officers. They were further charged with causing $988.68 in damage to the patrol car. They were not required to enter pleas to the charges when they appeared before Chief Magistrate Joyanne Ferguson Pratt. They were remanded to prison, but they can seek bail in the Supreme Court. The men were previously charged with firearms and ammunition possession after the weapons were recovered when police searched a second car. And Youth, Sports and Culture Minister Mario Bolag says that the timing of the general election in 2021 is connected to the failure of some parliamentarians to make their financial disclosures as required under the Public Disclosure Act. Bolag also suggested that there was a failure on the part of the unit that received financial disclosures ahead of the election to hand them over to the other unit that receives disclosures under the Public Disclosure Act. Asked whether he had submitted his financial disclosures, the minister said, quote, "Definitely, that's without a doubt. I think what happened is there was a miscommunication for some as it relates to the 2020 assets being recorded, because we should have put our 2020 for the 2021 election, and then the 2021 should be recorded for this year as we move into 2022 because it's the 30th of each year." You can read more about that in today's Nassau Guardian. Overseas, from the Philippines, the namesake son of the late Philippine dictator Ferdinand Marcos appeared to have been elected Philippine president by a landslide in an astonishing reversal of the 1986 People Power pro-democracy revolt that ousted his father. Marcos Jr. had more than 30.8 million votes in the unofficial results, with more than 97% of the votes tabulated as of Tuesday afternoon. His nearest challenger, Vice President Leni Robredo, a champion of human rights, had 14.7 million votes in Monday's election, and boxing great Manny Pacquiao appeared to have the third highest total with 3.5 million. Marcos Jr.'s running mate, Sara Duterte, the daughter of the outgoing leader and mayor of southern Davao City, had a formidable lead in the separate vice presidential race. The alliance of the scions of two authoritarian leaders combined the voting power of their families' political strongholds in the north and south, but compounded worries of human rights activists. Dozens of anti-Marcos protesters rallied at the Commission of Elections, blaming the agency for the breakdown of vote-counting machines and other issues that prevented people from casting their votes. Election officials said the impact of the malfunctioning machines was minimal. A group of activists who suffered under the dictatorship said it was enraged by Marcos' apparent victory and would oppose it. And defying a nationwide curfew in Sri Lanka, several hundred protesters continued to chant slogans against the government today, a day after violent clashes left 4 dead and prompted the resignation of the prime minister, who was blamed, along with his brother, the president, for leading the country into the worst economic crisis in decades. Protesters swarmed the entrance to President Gotabaya Rajapaksa's office in the capital of Colombo for the 32nd day to demand that he follow his brother's footsteps and quit. Thousands of protesters have crowded the area outside the president's office for weeks, but the number dropped to hundreds on Tuesday due to a 36-hour curfew imposed after the clashes a day earlier. A government decree issued Monday night confirmed the resignation of the prime minister. With the resignation, the cabinet was also dissolved, creating an administrative vacuum. Even though the president has the most power under the Constitution, a prime minister and cabinet are needed to manage the government. The prime minister is also the next in line if the presidency falls vacant. Religious leaders and the Lawyers Bar Association of Sri Lanka were in talks with political leaders on the formation of a new cabinet. In sports, from the NBA, Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors rallied past the Grizzlies, the Memphis Grizzlies, 101-98 for a 3-1 lead in their semi-conference playoffs. The Warriors only need one more to clinch that series. The Celtics pulling even with Milwaukee with a 116-108 victory last night. And from the NHL, the Avalanche, the first to advance in the hockey championships, and now they're awaiting either the Blues or the Wild. And the Panthers beat the Capitals in overtime in Game 4 to tie their series. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. Your first look at weather brought to you by BTC. We've got a weak surface trough near the central Bahamas. That's going to merge with a cold front and move southeastwards through the chain of islands later today. Elsewhere, a non-tropical low-pressure system centered just northeast of the islands will generate some hazardous beaching and boating conditions. Boaters should be alert for possible waterspout activity, and boaters and beachgoers should exercise caution due to the risk of rip currents and rough surf, mainly along north and east coast beaches, due to north to northeasterly swells. For the northwest Bahamas today, forecast calls for partly cloudy, warm, and breezy conditions with a chance of a few passing showers and the slight chance of an isolated thunderstorm, mainly offshore. Mostly fair and breezy tonight. Smallcraft advisories in effect due to swells. Winds north to northeast at 15 to 20 knots. Seas 4 to 6 feet, but up to 10 feet along north and east coast exposures in north to northeasterly swells. For the central and southeast Bahamas today, variable cloudiness and warm conditions expected with a few scattered showers and the chance of isolated thunderstorms through tonight. Small craft advisories in effect due to swells. Winds northerly at 10 to 15 knots, but falling light and variable at times, mainly across the southeast Bahamas. Seas 2 to 4 feet, but up to 9 feet along north and northeasterly exposures in north to northeasterly swells. Temperatures today getting up to around 86 Fahrenheit, 30 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 72 Fahrenheit, 22 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook coming up after traffic in just a bit. Your first look at weather brought to you by BTC. All BTC prepaid combos now include full unlimited WhatsApp. Enjoy unlimited WhatsApp, full unlimited WhatsApp chat, unlimited WhatsApp video calls, unlimited WhatsApp calls, unlimited WhatsApp sharing. Visit any BTC location or WhatsApp or email their virtual store to activate today.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up.
It's time for a break, but when we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
It's start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Technology serves to make our lives better, so why not your business too? At Custom Computers, we've been maintaining our knowledge and relationships with top tech companies since 1987 and carry only the most trusted brands like Apple, Microsoft, HP, and more. No company has helped more businesses build reliable IT systems than Custom Computers. You name it, we've done it. Call 396-1101 to talk to any of our business experts. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
Wake up.
I bank wherever I want thanks to Scotia Online and Mobile. I bank from my garden. I bank from my living room. I also bank from my kitchen. No need to wait in line. Now when I bank with Scotia, I bank on my own time. Seniors, you too can bank your way any time of day without ever going into a branch. Find out more. To get started, visit bs.scotiabank.com/digital seniors.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of the new way. You know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for your smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796. Standard text rates apply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Joining me now, Don Sargent. Don Sargent, good morning.
Morning, Dwight.
Great to hear you. Hope you're doing well.
Still living.
That's wonderful, wonderful. All right, we got a lot to talk about this morning, including in our 8 o'clock hour. We're going to find out about the North Carolina Central University Counselor Education Program recruitment. This is coming as the world is observing Mental Health Awareness Month, and we're going to be talking about that and the need for more clinical mental health counselors. And I'm going to find out what you need to do to be a part of that. That's coming up. And later in Morning Blend Business, we're very excited. We're kicking off a new monthly series here on the show. We're going to be talking with the Consumer Protection Commission every month. This is the second Tuesday, right? Every second Tuesday of each month, looking at consumer issues. And we know there are tons of them out there. Tons of them. And we're going to be getting into what you need to know and what you need to avoid, all of that, every month. And, so today we're going to kick it off and also give you some tips, things to keep in mind as we approach hurricane season. And we know a lot of people get taken advantage of as the season hits us, and we see markups and all manner of unscrupulous activities. But we're going to get into all of that today and throughout the series. So looking forward to that. But let's begin with what else is in the news. And in the news, it's going to be a long process, it seems, to find out exactly what led to the deaths of 3 people at Sandals Emerald Bay in Exuma. And the police having a press conference yesterday, Police Commissioner Paul Roll giving the media locally and international media as well where things stand at this point. They've identified officially the victims. Of course, we did tell you who they were yesterday, but officially the police have named them. And the victims are 68-year-old Michael Phillips and 65-year-old Robbie Phillips from Tennessee and 64-year-old Vincent Chiarella from Florida. Chiarella's wife, Donis Chiarella, 65, was found alive and is still in the hospital in Florida in serious condition. Now, yesterday, Commissioner Rolls said that authorities sent the blood samples taken from the bodies of the 3 victims to a lab in Philadelphia for examination, and results are expected within 7 days. He said, quote, "The pathologist has extracted samples from all of the persons, and our forensic scientists have collected those samples. We are actively engaging a lab in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, to assist us with expediting the toxicological examinations of all of these samples. Once those examinations are done, our pathologist would be able to provide us with an official report as to the exact cause of death and help us to determine exactly what has happened. Our forensic scientists have also collected samples from both of the rooms and the properties of the Sandals Hotel in Exuma to determine whether or not any contaminants are present." Now, this is interesting here. The commissioner said that the victims had all gone to the health center in Georgetown complaining of illness on Thursday. Roll said they had eaten different things. They were all treated at different times, and they ate at different places. He said, quote, "We're checking all of that, which we will hopefully be able to determine whether or not it was some food or something else that caused it." So it remains quite a mystery despite all the speculation and people giving their theories on what they think it is, but still unclear at this time. 7 days, we'll see. But a scary situation nonetheless. So now, at the same time, and this is anyway, Sandals is saying that so far they've had minimal cancellations, but the acting Prime Minister Chester Cooper is stressing that the focus is definitely on dealing with the families of the victims. And But yeah, so that's what's happening, and we're going to wait and see what comes out of this. All right, so another interesting story in the paper today. This generated lots of conversation last week, and it continues. What caused so many MP, don't know the exact number, do we, to not declare their assets as required by law by March 1st each year. So we've got another theory. This is the third one. Our Candia Dame's writing about it. Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, Mario Boleg, said that yesterday that the timing of the general election in 2021 is connected to the failure of some parliamentarians to make their financial disclosures as required under the Public Disclosure Act. Boleg also suggested there was a failure on the part of the unit that received financial disclosures ahead of the election to hand them over to the other unit that receives disclosures under the Public Disclosure Act. Asked whether he had submitted his financial disclosures, the minister said, quote, "Definitely, that's without a doubt." All right, so he also said, go up, sit up, pay attention to this part. Quote, "I think what happened is there was a miscommunication for some as it relates to the 2020 assets being recorded because, remember now, we should have put our 2020 for the 2021 election, and then the 2021 should be recorded for this year, and we move into 2022 because it's the 30th of each year." Got it? He goes on to say, quote, "So it was declared during election period, but what was declared, though, through the election process was not handed over to the other unit, and for that reason, I think that's what happened to some of the individuals, but I know I cleared both." Make sense? Don, you got it? Yeah? Okay. The public
Clear as mud.
Right. The Public Disclosure Act mandates that every senator and member of parliament and senior public officials as well provide to the Public Disclosure Commission a declaration of assets, income, and liabilities up to December 31st by March 1st. The requirement that candidates submit disclosures of their assets, income, and liabilities under the Parliamentary Elections Act is separate and unconnected legal requirement. Okay, so I have to admit, even though that was some convoluted wording there, I kind of understand what Boleg is saying. This of the excuses was I can kind of get it. So you just did this ahead of the election, which was September, and you're supposed to file for the March 1st up to December 31st. I'm like, so, what do we? You mean for next year? No, but you get it? No? Okay. Anyway, I think I get it. Don, am I alone? Everybody? No?
No, you're not alone. I get it. But I, in his wording, how he said it was in that, yes, it is something that they had to file again, considering the timing of the election. And more than likely people thought, well, I already filed for this, and therefore didn't think about it and probably just forgot, which, we all forget, right, Dwight, to file our disclosures.
Well, I think forget is the wrong word, and I think didn't think it was necessary because we just did this. Perhaps that's it. But again, the failure here is on the part of the commission. They should have made it very clear.
The discretion of the PM, there's really no punishment for not disclosing at all.
No, there is, but no one's been punished.
Yeah, because someone has to put someone's name forward to say, hey, go investigate this. It's never happened in the history of this country, has it?
Yeah, sure. But in this situation,
we do this every year, and I'm always like, yeah, but if they
in the other years, it's a blatant disregard. It's a blatant disregard.
I mean, that's been the norm in this country, that this is routine. It's unfortunate, but it has become very routine. Now, whether or not they actually did forget, I don't know.
No, again,
I'll go by what he says.
Forget's not the word. Didn't think they needed to because
they may have
just
not
did
thought it necessary.
Mm-hmm. So this one, right? The excuse about being newbies, that's dumb. And whatever else we heard after that. But if we just did it for September, are you serious? What happened between September and December? I don't understand. And perhaps that is it. But again, the commission should have made that clear. You still have to do it. And clearly they didn't. And it sounds like just by March they were asking people, hey, y'all didn't file. What happened? Like, what? And so the commission needs to be held responsible for this. What say you all on it, though, folks? Do you get what Boleg is saying? Does it make a and should he have been the one to speak first? Anyway, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. And you know what this means? That means that the only person to blame in this is Minnis, because he called that ridiculous early election. We would have been having election maybe this week. But if he hadn't done it, everyone would have known what to do. Anyway, let's hear what you have to say. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us. Again, 422-4796. All right, let's see what your text messages are saying. What is this? Where is this coming from? Okay, this is out of nowhere. But anyway, regarding the Davis administration, and particularly the Economic Affairs Minister, Michael Halkitis' refusal to remove VAT from bread basket items, random text, and give the Bahamian public a break from the rising prices in the food stores and inflation in the country. Okay, well, they're not all related. Anyway, it's heartless, and we know it's all about exceeding government revenue projections at the end of the year, so that in June, during the budget debate, they can all brag and puff out their chest, bang on the table, and say, hey, Bahamian voters, look what we've done. We've exceeded revenue projections. You see, we are better than Peter Turnquest and Minnesdam. Meanwhile, Bahamians suffer. So you got to get the minister here, talk to him, put in a good word for your poor Bahamian brothers, and we are hurting. Okay, well, I'm sure we'll have Minister Halkitis on soon as the budget debate approaches. Okay, this one says, Bahamians act so surprised by Exuma deaths. Wait, no. Well, I don't know if we need to mix up all of these things. Accidents happen, things happen. But if we find out that this was as a result of negligence, then we need to act and ensure that it doesn't happen again. But things happen all over, everywhere, all the time. So, yeah. This person says here, after the last 5 years, I don't know MPs that still had to declare because I didn't hear about any. I'm not sure what you're saying, Texter. Well, there's a lot of things that we all personally don't hear about, but they're certainly happening. So, but yes, they're still required to, and some do. Some did.
I've always wondered, though, Dwight, if you or I become an MP one of these days in life, right? And we have, let's say, $1,000 in our account, and we just put $500. Is there some mechanism that they can check things, or is it just we self-declare and that's the end of it?
That's what people think is happening now. I don't know. That's has been an issue. I know people that came up in the last election, there needed to be a better way to verify what people were saying. And so that has been a long-standing concern. And people do get the papers and save them to see. And they say, we know this ain't true. This is at least several billion undercount. But we hear that. And sometimes you hear several thousand overcount. But, let's take this call. Good morning, call. You're on the air.
Godly day, this is Dr. Voice along with you and Don Dwight.
Good morning.
This country needs justice, law, and order. Dwight, somebody on the truth. I had run for the House of Assembly on 2 occasions, right?
What?
I had run for the House of Assembly on 2 occasions, right? And you're supposed to state what you have. Other than that, you're not going to get certain document. Okay? The thing is, that's what you would call, that's the way things are being done. Okay? So somebody are not telling the truth. Okay? So they got to come again. Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Okay. Really? He ran twice. Wow, that's okay.
Have we ever had a situation where any because I think they all eventually Probably not always by the deadline, unfortunately, but I think they all eventually disclose. Have the bid circumstances, Dwight.
You know that?
I'm assuming.
Oh, don't do
right?
that.
Because
Don't do that.
our laws have so much teeth.
Don't
and they're
do
just so rigid with how their enforcement is supposed to go about. No, it's not discretionary at all. Being very sarcastic.
They all seem to do it in time for the election. They might. I don't know, but
Because that's
we
the
will
poppy
be.
shows,
It's supposed to be
you know, when they
published
publish it
every
in the
year, but we
paper.
don't know. Yeah, we never
Oh.
know if anybody, or if all of them eventually all disclose. We never know. But they certainly do in time for the election if they're running again. But in the middle of a term. But okay. This one says here, I get it, but you know what would fix this? Fixed election dates. It could help. I assume it could help.
Or you just stop making this process discretionary. It shouldn't be. Anyways, we like this, so I'll
Yes.
just stop talking.
You're right. If you could either do the fixed election dates and or punish the people who fail to disclose on time. Both of those would help to cut down on the problem. And I think we should do both. This person says here, happy Dawn, lies, and excuses. Minister Mario was able to file, so everyone should have been able to do so. Do the same as well, period. Yes, and it would be helpful if you know that there are a bunch of new MPs commissioned, then send a friendly nudge. Hey, don't forget, even though the election was just 3 months ago, you still need to file through to the end of December 31st. Why wouldn't you do that? Okay. This one says, if he is saying what he's saying is true, how come he knew that and had to file and did file according to him? Yeah, so that's going to be a thread. Sure. This one says, fine each one $10,000 and put some money in the treasury and send a clear signal of no nonsense to these politicians. I guarantee they won't forget next year. This will also send a clear example of how serious the government is on collecting money, starting at the top. This is a funny text. Stop covering our this government, Dwight. That's funny. Send that to the.
They sure told you, Dwight.
Send that one to the PLB groups who have a picture of me on a dartboard. Yep, that's Dwight. Okay, this one says, I want and need my long overdue increments now. This new government playing and joking. Oh boy. Okay, what do they owe you for? Where do you work? This one says here, parliamentarians must be acutely aware that disclosure is priority to establish financial integrity to serve. So they should be in a hurry to know what's required and definitely not obfuscate, as is a wearisome habit. Okay. Someone says, you just self-declare and that's it. No one checks for authenticity, Don. So, that has been a major concern. This one says here, Dwight and Don, ignorance is no excuse of the law. We're talking about persons who have been elected to the highest office in the country, and why would some disclose and others not? They don't communicate with each other. This is blatant arrogance, and bull is long overdue. This makes us look like a jokey country.
That's because we are.
This text, I'm a retired career public servant who had to disclose annually and every year. A reminder would have been sent out prior to the required date, so I don't think this has changed. Oh, boy. Who sends it out? Is it they change the commissioner? Although the previous commissioner is in the cabinet now, you would think he would say, hey, guys, don't forget. Anyway, this one says, fail to disclose, give me a break, only in the Bahamas. Well, probably not, but definitely in the Bahamas. This one says, we must license our car every year on our birthday, right? So let's see what happens if we don't. This one says here, in public service, in public service, including MPs. I may think this is in the wrong order. Anyway, here the Turks and Caicos, we have an integrity commission, which is not appointed by the government. Everyone, they please everyone that's in the public service, including MPs. I think this is needed in the Bahamas. It's supposed to be coming. I think they've even drafted the legislation, right?
Yeah, I just want to say we have legislation that's supposed to speak to an integrity commissioner and everything.
Yep.
But again, this situation with the declarations predates all of that. But the legislation, like I said, has no teeth because if you don't file, again, your name has to be forwarded, I think, by the Prime Minister to the Attorney General or the Commission, I believe. Sorry. Like I said, I don't remember. I can't recall of a single instance of that actually happening. I remember people have campaigned in the past, whether it be government in the sunshine or whoever, that they would, address this issue that's been so long standing. But here we are, Dwight, 2022, still talking about things we were talking about in 1992. But okay.
And we will in 2092 too.
All
right, let's take these calls. Caller, you're on the air. Okay, let's take this one. Good morning, you're on the air.
Morning, Dwight. Morning, Dawn.
Hi.
Dwight, Dawn, it's a sad day because all I'm hearing is a bunch of excuses. We've been talking with the Public Disclosure Committee and the Public Accounts Committee now for decades. We know that the opposition, from my recollection, is responsible or heads the commission, and they are then charged. The commission is then charged to ensure that each parliamentarian, every senior civil servant, and their families disclose. Because my dad was a senior public servant, and I could tell you, all 5 of his kids who were working at that particular time had to disclose. This is a whole bunch of excuses, and this is not going to stop. Setting an election date is not going to make them disclose. The thing here is that we have enough laws on the books, and it's just the will to carry the laws out. That's not happening because there's too much politics and too many persons in these political parties who are tied to these people. And perhaps I guess it's safe to assume that this is why a lot of the things that they are supposed to do aren't getting done. Peter and Paul doing the same thing, and Peter does not want to as the young people say on the street, don't want to snitch. Because when the government changes, then they don't want to snitch on those who didn't carry the law. We need to get the penalties in particular paid. I think that's the only way we're going to get the message across. Every one of them who are late, let them pay the penalty. The $10,000, the Treasury needs it. I think that is going to be the definitive message that get them to see how serious it is that they carry out the duties as mandated by them accepting the roles in Parliament and senior civil servants. That's the only way it's going to happen.
Okay.
Thanks for taking my call this morning,
Right.
Bahamians. I'm going to tell you, we are losing. We are talking about this thing over and over and over and over and over again, and we're getting nowhere fast. Let's fix the problem. Thank you.
Well, I think they were saying that the fixed election, they would cut down on that excuse, using that as an excuse. The fact that the election moved and so that would cut down on that excuse. But you're right. The only penalties, that would be the only way that this changes. A couple more text messages before we take a break. This person says here, you sent this text last week to this show and a couple others, and I'm a little confused why you keep sending it, but also what you're saying in the text. The texter says, we really don't understand why we care about disclosures. We all have seen MPs increase their wealth significantly during their term in office. How does disclosure help with integrity if there's no punishment being administered if something's found out? So that doesn't mean you shouldn't care about it. That's exactly why you should care about it, right? Now, the problem is that we aren't doing anything about it. So that's the problem, not the disclosure. Don't blame the disclosure. That's how you find out that something might be wrong. So we've got to care about all of these things, including what you're saying, right? But that's a part of it. It's hand in hand with integrity. Because, again, how could things have changed so much from September to December already? That would be quite interesting to know. Wouldn't it? And especially next December. Oh, boy. This person says here, let them declare and have the Auditor General or accounting firm do an audit or forensic audit throughout the year. If they are found to have declared falsely, then fine them $100,000 or have them removed for lying. And a couple more here. Can we at least put the politics aside for one day and let's remember my former colleagues? Yes, we absolutely will, and I hope you were listening yesterday as well to that. This one says here, two things to note here. One, filing your declaration is necessary to ensure integrity within the political system. It's supposed to be a check and balance. There's a $10,000 fine that all who missed owe. Make them pay it. And number two, the government is now saying that they will garnish wages, bank accounts, etc., to collect government revenue to the same standards they wish to hold us to. Are they considering themselves our gods, or are they above the laws that they prescribe for us? Pick a poison pill. And this one says here, wow, I left this country 3 weeks ago, returning yesterday, driving to work this morning. You guys are on the same topic. Well, that couldn't be. That was discussed. I can't remember any topic discussed this long. You need to stop, texter. Why is it that we cannot find any condemnation on Marvin Dames from your editor? It is obvious that you guys have an agenda to prove me wrong. Well, okay. Obviously, your mind is made up, but they were saying the same exact things just a few years ago. And that previous administration had very little to do and say with us, other than a few of the ministers who remained on good terms with us. But it is a well-known secret that we were not liked by the previous administration either because we speak the truth and we call out them on their nonsense. So we want to hear. It's very clear. Very clear. So you don't want us to talk about this anymore. Okay.
See, Dwight, what you have to understand is on Tuesdays, you ardently defend one party, and then so on Wednesdays, then you defend the next one. And because you do that, right, Dwight?
Mm-hmm. Don't say this. They're going to think you're serious. Your sarcasm is lost on many people.
But I'm saying that's... how would that even work?
But it depends on the issue, right? Everybody can't be wrong all the time. And
well,
definitely
yes, if you're wearing the wrong color, yes, you're wrong all the time.
Okay.
You know how this works, Dwight. It doesn't have to make sense. We don't you don't stop doing the wrong thing in the Bahamas because that's the right thing to do. We keep doing the wrong thing until it turns out right. That's the Bahamian way.
Very sad.
But anyway, Dwight, back to the thing about the disclosures. I still have to ask that question again, right? Because again, we've been speaking about this probably before I was even born. Right? What are we ever going to do about it? Is there going to be some expansion of this law? The only way to fix this is to prescribe something in law that, again, removes that discretionary aspect. Whenever there's discretion for something to be enforced, it ain't gonna ever be enforced on the people who would be affected by it. The text said earlier about garnishing of wages. Yes, that's for broke people like all the rest of us, right? But that ain't happen for everybody. Mm-hmm. We don't know how this country operates. I just being very frank and very real about the situation. Same thing with the no turn off or alleged no turn off lists at the public utilities, right? Some of them that don't apply for the general population because we broke people. So I just got to say, if you want to fix this issue, you got to fix that in legislation, and you need to put people's feet to the fire and actually read legislation before co-signing it. But expecting that of people who are also politically motivated in the things they say, expecting to go an entire year and now so without your power going off, it's not going to happen. So
is it's up to these folks. It's up to the legislators to fix this. Miles LaRota, while he was the commissioner, complained about the lack of teeth of the commission. They can't do anything. They can recommend and they can say whatever to the prime minister, but they can't go and pursue somebody who is in violation of this. And so it'll be up to those same MPs who did disclosed to put more teeth in the law so that the commissioner can do something about them. And do we believe that's going to happen? Only if we talk about it incessantly, which some people apparently have a problem with because it shows what side our butter is on the bread. I don't understand what they're saying. But hey, so I guess it'll never happen, Don. But anyway.
Yes, my internet cut out for a bit. I don't know if that was them silencing me. I don't know. I'm just kidding.
All right.
But that's why I did the bread with the butter on the toast. But sometimes you can use cream cheese. You got to mix it up sometimes, you know?
Wow. Hey, folks, that texter got ahead of us there, but we do want you to remember it is May 10th, the 42nd anniversary of the sinking of the HMBS Flamingo and the 4 lives that were lost, 4 Bahamians lost in that tragedy. Fenric Sturrock, David Tucker, Edward Williams, Austin Smith. And we will never forget them. And we hope you tuned in yesterday for that great show we had and about the new book about this. And you can listen to that again on our podcast page on GuardianTalkRadio.com if you did miss it. But again, folks, never forget. We'll be back.
Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
It's time for your first look at traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC. For all of life's moments, there's one Visa Classic credit card. Here's what's happening. We've got heavy traffic on Blue Hill Road from near St. Vincent Road all the way up to the roundabout with Independence Drive, especially at the intersection, the junction with Soldier Road, all the way up, as we said, in the northbound lanes. Heavy traffic there. Building traffic on Carmichael eastbound to Blue Hill, and on Carmichael near the junction with Milo Butler Highway and Faith Avenue, and building westbound as well to Coral Harbor Road. Milo Butler Highway seeing heavy traffic from well south of Fire Trail through the roundabout there and all the way up to the roundabout with Tawny Booms Darling Highway roundabout. So that's the northbound lanes there, and we're seeing some traffic backing up on Fire Trail eastbound to the roundabout and west Tawny Booms Darling Highway to the roundabout with Milo Butler Highway. Gladstone Road also busy for you this morning, northbound on the way to JFK Drive. Eastern Road is seeing that traffic building from San Souci up to Johnson Road westbound, and pockets along Prince Charles Drive and Robinson Road and Soldier, especially north of Robinson through to the intersection with Bernard Wolfe and Village Road. Those are your hottest spots right now. We'll have another update for you after the 8 o'clock news. That's your Morning Blend Traffic Alert, brought to you by RBC. Experience cashless purchasing power and chip and pin security with your RBC Visa Classic credit card. Manage your day-to-day expenses and apply today at rbc.com/Caribbean/Visa Classic. Time for another check of your weather for today. Brought to you by Inventive Intellect. We've got a weak surface trough near the central Bahamas. That's going to merge with a cold front and move southeastwards through the islands later today. Elsewhere, non-tropical low pressure to the Bahamas will generate some hazardous beaching and boating conditions. As a result, boaters should exercise extreme caution and be vigilant for possible water spouts. Boaters and beachgoers should exercise caution due to rip currents and rough surface swell, mainly along north and east coast beaches due to north to northeasterly swells. So for today, your forecast for the northwest Bahamas, partly cloudy, warm and breezy with a chance of isolated or a few passing showers and the slight chance of isolated thunderstorms, mainly offshore. Mostly fair and breezy tonight. A small craft advisory is in effect due to swells. For the central and southeast Bahamas, variable cloudiness and warm conditions with a few scattered showers and the chance of isolated thunderstorms expected through tonight. Small craft advisory is in effect due to swells. We're looking at high temperatures getting up to around 86 Fahrenheit, 30 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to 72 Fahrenheit, 22 Celsius. In your extended outlook, that low pressure system is expected to support some hazardous beaching and boating conditions, and that's going to continue through at least Friday before dissipating and moving onshore near the Georgia-South Carolina border. For tomorrow, Wednesday, partly to mostly cloudy and breezy with a chance of a few passing showers in the northwestern islands. Partly to mostly sunny with a chance of isolated showers elsewhere. Small craft advisory will still be in effect due to swells. And by Thursday, partly sunny and very warm with the chance of a few isolated showers. Small craft advisory for the northwest Bahamas. Caution for the central and southeastern islands due to swells. That's your morning blend weather check, brought to you by Inventive Intellect, specializing in customized items like mugs, mirrored photo frames, acrylic frames, cutting boards, and more. Give them a call, 676-5811 or 821-9457. Inventive Intellect.
Even when dining out is kind of predictable.
Will that be all, miss?
No, I would like that double-decker caramel chocolate cheesecake.
Sometimes you need to make a classic move. Life's moments, there's one classic credit card. Experience cashless purchasing power and chip and pin security with your RBC Visa Classic Credit Card. Manage your day-to-day expenses. Apply today at rbc.com/Caribbean/Visa Classic and enjoy 1 year's free membership. Conditions apply.
We know how important collecting your money can be to the success of your business. Start your relationship with Fidelity today so that we can show you the many options available to you with our merchant services. From click and pay options online to merchant terminals and e-commerce options. We're here to help your business succeed. For more details, speak to one of our business development officers at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit our website at fidelitygroup.com or visit any of our branches.
Pharmacy introduces a new spin on prescriptions called Pick Up Now, Pay Later. That's right, you can collect your medications first and pay after. How does it work? Step 1, submit a prescription online. Step 2, select the pickup site. Step 3, collect your medication. And Step 4, pay online within 14 days. For more info, call us at 242-302-4785 or visit us at doctorshosp.com.
You're always on the go. We know life can be a daily rush. CIBC, First Caribbean, you can count on us. We make life easier. Manage your accounts at any time. Apply for a loan. It's easy when you bank online. We make life easier with choices that suit you. CIBC, First Caribbean.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM.
Energy, so much in the atmosphere. Come with me, wine like you don't care. Jump around to get down to the boom bass sound. Gather round, party time. Can you feel the vibe? Everyone dancing till the morning light. Do you feel the rumble? I don't care if you stumble. Tell the police make way. We don't care if it's boom bass.
Back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Don Sargent. And yeah, people are going to be rushing down the road and rushing all about the place. Events are back. Regattas and festivals. And people are happy and looking forward to it. But there's a creepy elephant in the corner of the room. Rising COVID cases. In today's National Guardian, the number of new COVID cases in the country has increased notably in the past week, with 166 cases recorded between May 2nd and 8th. From April 25th through May 1st, 94 cases were recorded, 71 cases recorded the week before that. And between Saturday and Sunday, 53 cases were confirmed. Of them, 49 in New Providence, 3 Grand Bahama, and 1 in Abaco. The positivity rate on Saturday was 37.4%, more than 6 times the recommended maximum of 5%. And Sunday's rate was 20%. So with all that happening, the Minister of Youth, Sports and Culture, Mario Boleg, was asked about this. Is this going to have any impact on events that are planned, scheduled, booked to happen over the next few weeks? Take a listen to what he had to say in this report with our Berthany McDermott.
Despite a gradual rise in COVID-19 cases, Youth, Sports and Culture Minister Mario Boleg says scheduled events should continue. This as the Ministry of Health and Wellness recently granted approval for the Bahamas Carnival to have a road march this month.
I think if we keep that down below 2025, that's a little bit high on what we've been seeing in the past few months. But I believe that it will continue to be reduced, and I think the cultural events will continue to go on. I believe Bahamians they don't want to see us go back to the days of being locked down, and so we are more we paying attention to what's happening.
The Ministry of Health reported 37 new cases on Saturday and 16 on Sunday. The road march is permitted to have up to 500 people and is slated for May 21st from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. The announcement followed a bubble carnival event back in November, which was the first carnival event held since the pandemic began. As this event will no doubt draw large crowds, Boleg was asked if there is a concern that it could be a super spreader event.
I wouldn't say there's no concern, but I think that there was protocols that have been made to understand that the medical professions. And also, too, that's supposed to be almost like a parade on drive-by. There shouldn't be no one in the streets. There should be people on the trucks, I was made to understand, and in vehicles. So it shouldn't be the norm that we've used to seeing.
With such a large event attracting hundreds of people, how will protocols be enforced?
The protocol officers, I'm sure that the medical professions who've made the decision will ensure. We still got a protocol, COVID officers, I should say, standing by. So they'll be around to ensure that the whatever protocol that's placed is enforced. And I probably will come by myself and look for you to make sure we see that happens. We got to make sure that happens.
And should the COVID situation change ahead of the event?
I'm sure if the case rises, the medical professionals will make a decision that will be more beneficial to the Bahamian people.
Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I'm Berthany McDermott.
Okay. I need someone to explain it to me. What is a drive-by event? How does that work? What? No one's supposed to be on the streets. Wait, the people, how are they going to do that? How are you going to stop that? How are you going to stop that? And when I'm here by my car, by myself, just standing up, what's the issue? But will they require like 6 feet between the revelers? Well, how is that going to work if you're rushing or on the road? You what? Only 500? Mm-hmm. Okay. Don, drive by. That's not the right.
You lock up.
Drive through. But yeah, what?
I think he misspoke when he said that, because I was thinking the same thing about the drive-by thing. I was like, was someone shot during this? Are we expecting shootings?
No, don't say that. No, I wasn't thinking that, but I got what he was saying. It's like a maybe drive through. You just stay in your car while you're at the movies.
Yeah, I think drive through is what he meant to say.
Drive through
when he said drive by.
Drive in. Anyway, huh? I don't understand. Make it make sense. But what about So what about the festivals? Are they supposed to be drive in, through, by, to, or what are you doing? How are we supposed to do that? Or we just need to calm down. Everybody just do your thing. Don't get too close. Keep a little distance and we'll be okay. And don't speak anymore. Maybe Maybe. Let's hear what you have to say, folks. You understand it? Do you have any concerns? We do need to get back to these things, right? This is a very important component of all of our lives, well, many of our lives. And, right? So we're not saying don't do this, but just how? How are we going to do it safely? 323-6232, 325-4316. 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. As we said yesterday, there were, as of yesterday, 9 people in the hospital moderately ill. Right? So, Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Dwight.
Hi.
Good morning, Dawn.
Good morning.
Yeah, Dwight, I'm not uplifted. I enjoyed the lawyer, Dwight Fitzgerald, yesterday. A very brilliant lady. She's
Indiana
a godsend.
Fitzgerald. Indiana Fitzgerald.
Oh, Fitzgerald, yeah. Yeah, all right. Yeah. It's not Fitzgerald's sister, but she's a nice. But I think I'm a voice in the wilderness also. So, the thing is, Dwight, what you should do is maybe read from the CDC website their data and their science on outdoor transmission to the Beeman people, right? On outdoor transmission dynamics, please, all right? And stop the fear. See, what happened is, Dwight, the fear is the grip on the paradigm, and they're using the photo ops, and this is the international global psyops, and any lockdown and any other infringement of human rights be crimes against humanity, all right? Now, I'm afraid that the great minister used the term, if we can keep this down, right? As if they can control this virus. And that's what I'm afraid of. And so they're controlling it with fear and ignorance, not with facts. Asymptomatic spread is basically non-existent. They know that, Dwight. Like I said, when you cough and sneeze and have runny nose, those are transmission mechanisms that the virus has developed with the host. All right, these have nothing to do with 52. What I'm saying is we cannot be in this spiral merry-go-round, right? This construct is so multifaceted and so deep until I'm weeping for the sheep. All right? Now, 52 cannot be on the radio every day trying to explain the facts about these things and herd immunity and PCR test manipulation and all these things. I cannot. It's weary for me. So the fact that some people are even crying for lockdowns in their ignorance. And this is sickening to me because we were once young and we want people to have their freedoms. And what I'm saying is there is documentation showing you that these people signed on to this Emergency Powers Act about 4 or 5 years out. All right? They knew there are many simulation tests on these experiments, the big event, Clade X, Atlantic Storm.
All right, we got to go to the News 52. But, hey, we want them back. We definitely do. Let's go to the news. Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796. And now at 8:16. We've got another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. We've got a weak surface trough near the central Bahamas. That's going to merge with a cold front and move southeastwards through the islands later today. Elsewhere, a non-tropical low-pressure system just northeast of the Bahamas. It will generate some hazardous beaching and boating conditions. As a result of all of that, boaters should be alert for possible waterspout activity, and boaters and beachgoers should exercise caution due to the risk of rip currents and rough surf, mainly along north and east coast beaches due to north to northeasterly swells. For today, for the northwest Bahamas, expect partly cloudy, warm, and breezy conditions with a chance of a few passing showers and a slight chance of isolated thunderstorms, mainly offshore. Mostly fair and breezy tonight. Small craft advisory in effect for boaters due to swells. For the central and southeast Bahamas, variable cloudiness and warm conditions expected with a few scattered showers and a chance of isolated thunderstorms through tonight. Small craft advisory is in effect due to swells. Temperatures getting up to around 88 Fahrenheit. Overnight lows tonight getting down about 72 Fahrenheit. That low pressure system is expected to support some hazardous beaching and boating conditions through to Friday at least, before gradually dissipating as it moves onshore near Georgia and South Carolina. So, for tomorrow, Wednesday, we're expecting partly to mostly cloudy and breezy conditions with a chance of a few passing showers in the northwestern Bahamas and partly mostly sunny in the south, east, and central islands. By Thursday, partly sunny and very warm with a chance of a few isolated showers. That's your morning blend weather check brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. What's first for you comes first for us. Time for another check of your traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC. For all of life's moments, there's one Visa Classic credit card. In your real-time traffic, Milo Butler Highway is your hotspot this morning. Heavy traffic from well south of Fire Trail in the northbound lanes all the way up to Tonic Williams-Darling Highway. A lot happening on Tonic Williams-Darling Highway as well. Westbound to the roundabout is heavy, and eastbound, we're seeing some heavier than normal traffic eastbound there this morning. Further south at the Fire Trail roundabout with Milo Butler Highway, heavy traffic on Fire Trail eastbound to the roundabout. And then further up at the six-legged roundabout, we're seeing northbound traffic and eastbound. That's eastbound on JFK, northbound, and not so much southbound. Those a couple areas we're going to be seeing some issues there. And near Saunders Beach and the roundabout with New Providence Highway, eastbound traffic backed up a bit there. Further south on Carmichael Road, you're going to be seeing a lot of traffic westbound to Coral Harbor Road. And Blue Hill Road still seeing some heavy traffic just north of Soldier Road, approaching the Independence Drive roundabout. Independence Drive backed up in both directions, west and eastbound. Then we've got a busy stretch of Robinson Road between Soldier and Old Trail. Westbound there, not moving much. And then northbound on Soldier Road, heading toward that very busy intersection with Village, Wolf, and Bernard Road. Eastern Road as well, westbound, heavy traffic this morning. Those are your hottest spots. It's real-time traffic in your Morning Blend Traffic Alert, brought to you by RBC. Remember, you can experience cashless purchasing power and chip and PIN security with your RBC Visa Classic credit card. Manage your day-to-day expenses and apply today at rbc.com/Caribbean/Visa Classic.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
And I say, boy, my island's in the sun, 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 sun. Bring it up now. And I say, boy, my island's in the sun. Carnival time is here. 'Cause when I turn to party, this joke and they got me wet. So, boy, my son, carnival time is here. We got me big and straightened, winding up and whiskey hating.
We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Don Sargent. Coming up in a few minutes, we're going to be talking about a clinical mental health counseling program with North Carolina Central University. We're going to get some details about that in just a moment. We want to get through the rest of your text messages on what we were talking about before the break, talking about events with a slight uptick in COVID numbers. Should this put a damper on the many festivals and events that are planned over the next few months? Or do we need to find a better way to live with COVID like we do with everything else? And we think we know what most people will say to that. And after 2 years of not being able to do anything, everybody's ready to get back out there and live, right? But let's see what you're saying on our text line. You can continue to text us, 422-4796. Call into 323-6232, 325-6, 325-4259. This person says here, it's 1,000 people, not 500. That the minister said 500, right? But anyway, there was some issue last week about what the number was going to be. I think the committees, the carnival groups were saying they were told something else, but right, there was a miscommunication. I don't know if it's been settled, but there's going to be an issue. Guarantee you, clearly, because all kinds of numbers are being thrown out there. But anyway, they say they think drive-by means it's all going to be on those big trucks. But I mean, what? Everyone's going to be on the big trucks? They're not going to be people on the road, literally? No? Everyone's going to be in the back of a truck? Or you're saying they're not going to be on the back of the truck? They are going, all of them are like election time. Oh, that was a disaster. Because they were much closer to each other on the truck than they would be on the road. You could kind of dance your way to the side of the road, away from everybody. But anyway, okay. But anyway, they're outside, so as 52 was saying, right? So, boy. This person says in Barbados they have a song, I Am Not Afraid of the Walk-Up Police. Perhaps this will be the second time in history that the Bahamians import a special unit of Caribbean policemen specialized for reliably identifying and controlling the walk-up. I think that text came in Bajan. I don't know what just happened. I don't understand it. Anyway, I'm wondering if this is a text. I'm wondering if this crew is governing for the well-being and safety of the Bahamian people or for popularity. Now, probably both. But why are you asking that? What's the issue why you're asking that? What gave you any indication that they're not or that they are? What do you say? But I tell you, it's probably both. This person wants to get into contact with 52. Another one here. The responsibility of staying well is now placed back on the individual. And with all the societal ills, I predict that we may have a rough patch ahead. By the way, a drive-by celebration is called a motorcade and not a carnival. I'll be watching the outcome from the safety of my device. So is it a motorcade? You say it's on the back of the truck. That can't be right. I need my carnival friends to message me. Are you going to be on the back of a truck? Man. What? So no one's going to see you in your little skimpy outfits? Sorry, I'm not supposed to say that. Huh? Don, do you know what's going on? No costumes. It's just a T-shirt thing.
So what?
Oh, dear. What is this?
What's going on? I'm good. I thought
it's
the
not
whole
costumes.
point was the outfits.
Oh, what is this?
This is a new thing.
This is a new thing. Okay. T-shirt on the back of a truck. Hey, it might be great. It might be great.
Dwight, are you going? Are you going to support it?
I don't do daytime events. If it were darker.
I'm sorry, Dwight. What was that?
I can't do the sun. So.
Yeah, I know. They invented caps. So, and sunscreen.
Okay.
Is that your way of saying no?
Hey man, it's gonna be wonderful.
You gotta support. You can wear a Guardian shirt and be like, just. All right, I was stopped.
Yeah. Well, anyway, but I'm very much looking forward to events. Cannot wait. So we hope this works out, and we hope all of the events work out, and we hope we can, as that previous texter said, the responsibility. We all need to be responsible and accountable, and don't lose control of your senses, right? Not the time to be licking people who you haven't seen in 2 years, licking them on the face. No, you still have to exercise control. This text here, this is okay. Were breadbasket items 0 rated or VAT exempt under the FNM administration? Well, those are two very different things, and they were breadbasket items. Some of them are 0 rated. That's duty. And all of them were VAT exempt. And whatever was 0 rated then is still 0 rated now. I think fruit and stuff, right? Those are all. And so that hasn't changed. It's just the VAT. That's just the VAT. Yeah? Okay. All right. So we're going to leave that there. We're going to see what happens. When is that? Later in a couple weeks, right? The carnival event. But there are all kinds. We saw a list yesterday of all the festivals that are coming, that are back and on the way. Should I read that? Yeah? People want to know? Okay. Let's pull it up. And these are the... okay. So... festivals are back. We got Long Island Regatta, June 1st through 4th. Cat Island Rake and Scrape Festival, June 2nd through 6th, so the same weekend. Barataria Homecoming, Festival Homecoming, June 3rd through 6th. Everything's happening Labor Day with Monday weekend. Oh, boy. So you got options, lots of options. Pineapple Festival, that same weekend, June 4th through 6th. We really need more holidays so that we can spread these things out. But you got Long Island Exuma and Pineapple Festival in Eleuthera to choose from. That long holiday weekend, one of the once or twice a decade it happens when we get Labor Day on the Friday and Whit Monday on the Monday. So that's a great long weekend. This person says, we just need to do them on weekends. They don't all have to be holiday weekends. All right. Then we have Junkanoo Summer Festival, July 1st through 30th. We have the All Andros Berry Islands Regatta, June 7th through 9th. So that's going to be overlapping Independence Day there. Oh, that should be pretty cool. And that's a long holiday weekend too, right? And the Grand Bahama Regatta, July 21st through July 23rd. The Rollville Regatta and Homecoming Festival, July 29th through August 1st. And the Harbor Island Regatta and Homecoming, October 7th through 10th. So, hey, festivals are back. Yeah.
They are. Dwight, have you ever been to a regatta before?
Yes.
Oh, wow. I've never been to one. Maybe this will be my first.
Good stuff.
First time for everything, right?
Good stuff. And homecomings. Homecomings are cool, too, even without the regattas. All of them are great fun. Great fun, and really, really missed them over these 2 years. Looking forward to it. So, can't wait. All right. This person says here, I think the reason for the T-shirts is because if COVID rises and carnivals cancel, we won't lose too much. So they're trying to get back in the game. Yeah. Okay. Plus, no, I think it's the time, too. You just don't have the time to get the costumes together. And so T-shirts, you can slap that together pretty quick. So, hey. Anyway, all right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, it is May, which means it's Mental Health Awareness Month, and we're going to be talking about a program that is hoping to recruit some people to be clinical mental health counselors. Stay tuned for that. That's coming up after the break. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Earning zero interest on your savings at the bank? With as little as $100, you can start earning interest on your money while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank with the CFAL Savings Express Plan. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
One thing there is no debate about is that BTC has the best rates. Now, the best rates just got better because you pay half the price and mobile services combined. Switching to BTC is a no-brainer because I pay less with BTC and get super fast internet with speeds up to 600 megs. The other guys, their internet only go up to 105 megs.
Get all the internet you want at half the price when you bundle your home internet and mobile. Visit a BTC store to make the switch today. Conditions apply.
You're always on the go. We know life can be a daily rush. CIBC, First Caribbean, you can count on us. We make life easier. Manage your accounts at any time. Apply for a loan. It's easy when you bank online. We make life easier with choices that suit you. CIBC, First Caribbean.
Around the world, Cleveland Clinic is recognized as a leader in healthcare. Our team of experts relentlessly pursues the best for our patients. From groundbreaking cancer research to state-of-the-art heart surgery, life-saving innovations happen here every day. When it's time to travel for your health, it's time to travel to Cleveland Clinic. Your destination for care, for every care in the world. To learn more, visit clevelandclinic.org/Caribbean.
Staring at the ceiling, friends with shadows on my wall. All night, hearing voices telling me that I should get some sleep, because tomorrow might be good for something. Hold on, feeling like I'm headed for a breakdown, and I don't know why, but I'm not crazy, I'm just a little unwell. I know right now you can't tell, but stay a while and maybe then you'll see.
We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Don Sargent. And it is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we're going to be talking about that a lot this month over the next few weeks. This morning, we are learning about a special recruitment program at North Carolina Central University. It's the Counselor Education Program recruitment. Here to tell us all about it, we are very, very pleased to have with us Associate Professor and Director of Career Counseling Program at the university, our very own Dr. Livette Scott. And we also have Associate Professor and Director of the Clinical Mental Health Counseling Program and the North Carolina Clinical Mental Health President, Dr. Kyra Kurian. Ladies, great to have you with us.
Thank you for having us, Dwight. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm not sure if Dr. Barrow is with us.
No, she isn't.
Okay,
But
okay.
she's the director of our school counseling program. We have 3 programs.
Okay, all right, wonderful. Dr. Livette, great to have you with us again. Always a pleasure.
Yes, Dwight.
All right.
Yes, it's always good to be on. I want to say before I start, happy belated Mother's Day to my mom. I know she's listening. She's always a number one supporter.
Yes, Mommy.
Anything
Happy
I
Mother's
do.
Day.
So happy belated Mother's Day. I had to say that because she's listening.
Dr. Kyla, just forgive me, but I got to say, Livette, she's over there in North Carolina, and she's always listening to Guardian Radio and always messaging me. Messaging us. We can see the text, the different area code there. But she's a great supporter, and it's great to hear when Bahamians are so far away and they're still so invested in the country. It's beautiful. Thank you.
And we get to hear it. I'm her office neighbor, so I hear Guardian Radio also.
Oh gosh. I hope that's a good thing.
It is.
All right, so let's talk about the programs. And again, we said May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and we especially since the pandemic have been all made so aware of the challenges that we've been having even before the pandemic, but they've been exacerbated since the pandemic. And so much focus is now, thankfully, on mental health and mental health awareness. Let's talk about why it's so important to be aware of what's happening with your mental health.
Yeah, so as a program, we said we had 3 programs, and we as counselors, we come from a strength-based area, So we tend to look at person's strengths, and we still use all of the counseling skills that we learn and that we teach our students. But we come from that strength base, and we encourage persons to sort of be their own invested what you call it, person or individual who's going to help themselves. Also to see that, hey, yes, you're going through some stuff right now, but let's get over the trends that we have here to help impact and deal with the things that we're going through. So even though we have the 3 programs, all of our programs, the career counseling program, the clinical men's counseling program, where Dr. Corinne is the associate professor, and she's also, get this, on the board of the North Carolina board. Like, she's in charge of all the licensure. So she had to sign off. That was so weird. She had to sign off on my license board. I saw her name to the bottom, but she's the president. So she has a big, she has a big position. Wow. But and also with the school counseling program. So we basically, at least 30 of the credits within those 3 programs, they sort of mirror each other. So they have to go through the exact same thing, and then we branch off for the individuals. So even with clinical mental health, we know right now, even before the pandemic came, we had an online program, and we were so, this online program was so strong. So definitely we're able to help, help train counselors to be able to help persons who are going through a lot of mental health conditions over this pandemic, and everything was just coming down. And the good thing about it, and I want to say persons that mental health counselors, school counselors, and career counselors, they still had a job in this pandemic. We as counselor educators, we still had a job, but the mental health counselors, they have so many people coming to be able to get help in terms of for mental health counseling. So, yes, it's a very, besides nursing, yes, but it's a very a position that always. Mm-hmm.
Dr. Curing, your perspective on this?
Sure. We have seen an uptick, of course, with people just challenges around being, isolated. Of course, we've had all of our required quarantines and being able to staying home, seeing loved ones pass away. So dealing with grief and trauma, and life still has to continue, right? And so people are really challenged, and we are, part of our goal again is what Dr. Scott said is, we come from a strength-based position and a wellness position where we try to draw upon the strengths of an individual, and and in the same time, counselors are people too, and we're going through challenges just like those people that are out there. So it's really, it's really been challenging, and again, like I've said, I've had the blessing of knowing, I call her Scotty. I've known her for a while. So, and hearing, all of the things that are going on in the Bahamas as well. And it's just, it's something that we are unified in this world. All of us are experiencing this trauma, losing loved ones, watching people be ill and sick, people that are having extended COVID. And so, there's some great challenges that the mental health field is facing now, with regard to, being able to provide services for people who are across the water, maybe in the Bahamas, and maybe they have a counselor in the United States, or maybe it's in the United States across state lines. So right now, for mental health expansion and being able to grow, I think that finally mental health is being seen as something that's necessary. And as we know, for people that are in the African diaspora, and for people that are from the continent of Africa, and even people from other nations, mental health or going to see someone for help is stigmatized. Why are you going to see that person? Are you crazy? And I think that people are finally seeing that mental health is a part of health, and it's nothing, and shaming someone is, and I think that's one of the things we try to teach our students is trying to help normalize and that maintaining your mental health by going to see someone who's been trained is not a problem. And we try to, and you shouldn't be ashamed of it. But what happens with the advent of online counseling, and Dr. Scott has, and some colleagues have brought together a telemental health program where people that are in a counseling program can get the training for online counseling. We know that that's not going to go back. People are now able to get counseling in the privacy of their own home. And maybe they're going to get more help. Maybe we'll see more help for people because stigma is still out there. People still need to grow and they still resist going to see someone. But maybe that person who wouldn't feel comfortable walking in an office may feel comfortable turning on their camera.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Have some methods changed? I guess that's the answer there. As a result of the pandemic, and I guess that's one of them.
Sure. And one of the things that I'm the chair of the North Carolina Board of Life we talk about is regulation and protection of the public. And we want to make sure, and Dr. Scott can talk about this because she's created this program for telemental health. It's a different way of counseling. And I think people are like, oh, it's just over Zoom, but there's different considerations to consider. For example, you have a webcam, right? Mm-hmm. And typically, when we're in the front of a person, we look into their eyes. Well, we don't have their eyes to look at. Nonverbals and eye contact, those things are very important. So you have to train yourself to look at the camera as if you're looking in someone's eyes. So there are different skill sets that you do have to add on when you're incorporating the digital or the virtual counseling session. Dr. Scott, want to add to that?
Yeah, I think the program that we have, we're trying to create a certificate program in telemental health counseling. And I think one thing, the first time I taught it along with two other professors, Dr. Barrow and Blunt, in the fall of last year. I think what the students really liked was that even though they're learning the counseling skills, they're able to put the counseling skills with the like even what Dr. Kurian just mentioned about being able to look directly in the camera, what you have in your background, the type of clothing you have on, the lighting you have on. I know a lot of times persons, even on Zoom, it's important to put your light in front of your camera instead of putting, being in the back, having your window in the back of you. So all of those things we go through, and we also look at a program, the Star Health program that has some modules, and we talk about it, and then we look at different what research talks about with telehealth counseling. And then in the advanced counseling course, we actually have them come on with a client, and they will do like a 45 minutes prep, and I'll do the evaluation, and also the students will evaluate each other. So it's really different. I mean, we've been doing online teaching for quite some time. So to have the online, and persons have been doing online counseling too, but it's now really like, okay, that's what people are doing now. It's like, you can't go back. We can't go back. Those days of, yes, we're going to always have face-to-face, especially with play therapy and all those other things. But right now, the thing is online telehealth counseling. I've counseled some children and online. I even have 1 or 2 clients in the Bahamas, I do telehealth counseling with. So it's just that's just where we're going to be, where we're going in terms of the next wave in counseling.
And it is as effective, like Dr. Kurian said, that you can't really see the body language so much. I mean, you're focusing on the face, but is it as effective, you feel? And there's definitely some major differences.
Yeah, it is differences, but here it is, Dwight. I think some counseling is better than not having any counseling at all.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So even if it's different, as counselors, we're not supposed to, touchy, but, from the Bahamas, that's our culture. We like to talk with our hands and stuff. But so I like the in face counseling. I want to say this too, like I teach a group counseling class and I love face-to-face. We have a residency component where they come and they actually do group counseling and that sort of thing. But I had to not force, because I was already doing online group counseling, all of my classes into online group counseling sessions. And so it was just different. But the students, they loved it. Now you have some students, I had one student one time say he watching the game in the bar. I said, oh, no, we can't do that. So you just have to, persons have to realize that, like Dr. Kurian always says, just pretend that you are in class or you are in the session with the client. The same thing you do, you just do the same thing. It's just that we're in a different mode. So we encourage students not to go, or even clients not to go into the coffee shop or Starbucks or, in the library or whatever. We tell them to try to be in a quiet area. And then safety is important. Something that we teach our students, and this is what we say even with clients, we always ask them to show their picture, like a driver's license, to make sure that's the right person. Then we also say, where's the nearest hospital? Okay, do you have, even with my clients in the Bahamas, I'll say, I know the nearest hospital. I mean, there's only 2 hospitals in the Bahamas per se, but I'll ask about where's the nearest counseling center, like the community counseling center for the SRC. Ask those questions. And then what is the safety number, the 911 number? For some reason, even when I had somebody was trying to call here and they called 911, I think it came up to the emergency, but just knowing what you need to do, where you need to get help, and even having somebody not in the room, but in the vicinity, me having that person's number. So if something happens to them while I'm speaking to them, I can say, hey, is this number working? Can I get this person if something happens to you right now? And also having that number as well. Okay, so all of the little steps you have to do to help with that and having the regulations and make sure you're doing things the correct way and having things intentional. We call intentional counseling. Once you do that, then it helps with that client. But it's different. Yeah. It's just a different mode of delivery. It's just different.
All right. We want to take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about it. You are here to talk about the programs and recruitment for counselors. So we're going to get all the details about that when we come back. We are talking with Dr. Livette Scott and Dr. Kyla Kurian. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Me and talking to myself in public and dodging glances on the train.
Wherever you're headed, the Custom Computers Know-How team is standing by to help guide you in the East and the West. We now have 2 convenient locations on Patton Street in Palmdale and our newest store in the Caves Village Shopping Plaza through the Blake Road entrance. Discover the latest products by top international brands and the knowledge you need to unleash tomorrow's technology today. Drop by Custom Computers out east or out west. We're open Saturdays from 10 till 4.
Even when dining out is kind of predictable, will that be all, miss?
No, I would like that double-decker caramel chocolate cheesecake.
Sometimes you need to make a classic move. That's why for all of life's moments, there's one classic credit card. Experience cashless purchasing power and chip and pin security with your RBC Visa Classic credit card. Manage your day-to-day expenses. Apply today at rbc.com/Caribbean/Visa Classic and enjoy 1 year's free membership. Conditions apply.
Wake up, it's a new day.
Around the world, Cleveland Clinic is recognized as a leader of experts relentlessly pursues the best for our patients. From groundbreaking cancer research to state-of-the-art heart surgery, life-saving innovations happen here every day. When it's time to travel for your health, it's time to travel to Cleveland Clinic. Your destination for care, for every care in the world. To learn more, visit clevelandclinic.org/Caribbean.
breakfast just got better at Wendy's. Introducing the Breakfast Biggie Bag. Enjoy a double sausage muffin with 2 square sausage patties, a freshly cracked egg, and cheese served on a toasted English muffin, a medium waffle fries, and an orange juice for only $5.25, VAT inclusive. And an apple pie for just $1 more.
Say what?
At Wendy's, better breakfast is all day. Offers valid in participating locations. Wendy's, different inside and out.
I used to think of the bank as my personal ATM machine. If I wanted a new car, new furniture, a weekend trip to Miami, no problem. Just max out the credit card or top up my loan. I was a big baller until I realized that 75% of my salary was going to pay back all those loans. Fidelity's personal financial coaching was the best solution. Fidelity gave me a plan with a debt consolidation loan that has a built-in savings that pays 5% interest. I now only have one low monthly payment, plus money in my pocket. Give Fidelity Bank a call at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit any of Fidelity's locations or visit a website at fidelitygroup.com.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
For 25 years, Advantage Insurance has provided coverage for your most prized possessions, offering insurance plans to cover your vehicle, home, business, and boat with customized options that work with your budget. Now, Advantage says thank you to all our loyal customers and business partners over the past 25 years. Call 356-0285 or visit Advantage Insurance on Collins Avenue today. When every dollar counts, count on Advantage. Celebrating 25 years of service.
The ceiling making friends with shadows on my wall. All night, hearing voices telling me that
We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, along with Don Sargent. We are talking with Dr. Lavette Scott and Dr. Kyla Kurian with North Carolina Central University about their counselor education program recruitment. All right, so let's tell us a little bit about North Carolina Central University, NCCU. Tell us about that, and where exactly in North Carolina are you located?
So we're the home of the Eagles. We're located about 15, 20 minutes, and if persons know North Carolina, Raleigh is the capital of North Carolina. And so we're about 15, 20 minutes away. We're sort of central. We have Duke down the street about 5 minutes away from us. We have University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, about 10, 15 minutes from us. And then we have North Carolina State University, which is about 30 minutes away from us. So we're sort of like in the smack of those areas. And we're HBCU, historically Black college and university and college. Like I said, we are located also in the Triangle area. North Carolina have over about maybe 8,500 students. A lot of them are from the state of North Carolina because of the different, federal funding that the university will receive. Because once they, have about, I don't know percentage, but good percentage of North Carolinians in the school, they get federal funding and that sort of thing for persons to assist them and assist the university as well. Wow. And in North Carolina, at North Carolina Central, we have different programs. We're housed in the School of Education, and our department is Counseling and Higher Education Department. So we have the counseling program and the higher ed which is a different program, but we're underneath the same umbrella of counseling and higher education. In our program, we have 3 programs. The career counseling program, which I'm in charge of, and then Dr. Kurian is in charge of the clinical mental health counseling. And then Dr. Barrow, who's also an associate professor, actually 3 of us got promoted last year, the same time.
Congratulations.
She's also, thank you so much. She's also the director of the school council. Earlier, each one of those programs are 60 credit hours. Maybe about 30 credits of those, we do the exact same thing. So we do theories, they do group, which I teach the group counseling class mainly. And they do a lot of the same career piece. They do the practicum, internship. They do a lot of the same basic courses, and then they branch off into their different disciplines. So like with career counseling, they'll do like an advanced career counseling course. With school counseling, they'll do an advanced school counseling course. With clinical mental health, they'll do like an advanced assessment, where they use the DSM-5 and do diagnosis. So clinical mental health counselors can diagnose in the state of North Carolina in terms of mental health diagnosis, okay? So those 3 programs are housed, and each one of those programs are face-to-face and online. So we have an online component. You remember I talked about the online group counseling that I created. Also, we have a face-to-face component of each one of them. And we are KCREP accredited, meaning we are accredited by a standardized body skills that we have to pass. Actually, we just came through it and waiting on that decision. We are recreditation. I need to say that. But we're waiting on the new information. And we also accredited by SAS as well, and also some international accreditation as well, and local accreditations. Because, when persons look out there, the first thing they would Google is to make sure that program is accredited. In the state of North Carolina right now, and even going forward, most of the counselors have to be trained in a KCREP program. So our programs are KCREP, right? We have a lot of influx. I think we had almost 200 and something applications, and we only could get about 50, 60. And we do have 2 Bahamians in the program. Wow. And the 2 of them are doing clinical mental health program. I assisted in recruiting, so I felt that I wanted to see if we can do some more recruiting, even if we get 3 or 2 more. And I think we're international wise, I think in our program, they haven't had this, right, Dr. Kurian, haven't had international presence, I guess, for some time. But really, we're trying to see how we can definitely look at that and that sort of thing. I don't know if Dr. Kurian have anything else to say on that. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's it.
All right. So tell us about, if you are interested, what you're looking for in students, what they need to do. Give us all of those details.
So I think the most important thing is we want students who are open to learn. That's the main thing. We always say that when we recruit. But the main thing, besides all of the other things, they have to have a bachelor's degree. It does not have to be in a human relations like psychology or anything else. It can be in accounting, because we have persons who did accounting or statistics or whatever. You just have to have a bachelor's degree, and you have to have made at least a 3-point, at least, to be competitive in that program. And then persons have to take the GRE. It's a graduate requirement. We look at that as a component, but we don't set our if you don't get this score, you don't come in, because research does not show that. The persons who do well on the GRE exam, which is a standardization exam for graduate school. And then you do an interview. So for the past year, we started to do, persons would do, they'll come, we'll bring 5 people together, and we'll see how they interact. Because we want to see, are you a team player? Are you collaborative? Let's hear your skill sets. And we do our rubrics, we, look at those things. Mind you, we have another person who, Dr. Peggy Whiting, who's the coordinator, and Dr. Chad Royal. But Dr. Peggy Whiting, she would be the person who will look at all of those applications, and she will choose the top of the top And then it will come to us, the professors, and we have 2 professors who will look and do the group admissions. And then we'll say, hey, oh, I like that one, or that one says something. And then we also look at your applications. You have to write an essay, tell us why you want to come into the counseling program. If you're going to say, I want to be a psychologist, this is not the program for you because it's a counseling program. So we want to hear why you want to do clinical mental health counseling, why you want to do career counseling, why you want to do school counseling, and make sure that your references are good people, not from the babysitter or from your neighbor who you want to get it from either teachers or even persons who you worked with, and they can talk about your character, how you interact, your team player, because we also look at those as well.
Wow.
So it's an extensive thing that we look at. It's not just, you have the grades, because I've seen where we had persons who did their masters and they wanted to come in the program, and we did an interview and they were like, okay, you can't learn anything from us because you're not open to that. So I just say to persons, just, think on those levels. And our deadline normally is in February 1st. So this is why I'm coming now to say, okay, if persons are interested, they can go on our website, NCCUCOUNSELING.com. I know sometimes when you're on the show, people say it so fast. And I'm like, what did I need to get done? So it's NCCU Counseling, COUNSELING.com. Okay. And you can go on our website. It tells you everything. You'll see our pictures. You'll see the professors. We have diverse professors. We have everybody with different skill sets and different strengths, and everybody come. We have a LCAS. We have also an addiction program. We also have that as well. And so that is thriving. So we have a lot of stuff going on in our department.
All right. So we have about a minute left, but you said the deadline is when now?
Normally February 1st.
Normally, but it's well past. So what is the deadline now? If it's you're giving people some extra time.
No.
This
still
is
February 1st.
So this would be for next year, not for
our
fall.
Fall is taken.
Okay,
it's taken.
All right.
Our fall is taken. We don't accept anybody after February 1st.
Okay.
If you're and you have to complete everything. Don't just complete and miss something. No, we don't even look at if you didn't complete everything. We don't even look at your application. Okay. So you want to make sure you complete everything.
So start thinking about now for next year if you get into this program. All right.
Yes, because you have to do the GRE and all of that, and that takes some time as well. So this is why I wanted to come on from now, because you have a whole sort of year to get preparation if you're interested.
Wonderful stuff. And does it matter how long you've been out of school?
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Okay.
Doesn't matter. We have persons who are right now, somebody who's in their 50s. Well, I'm 51, but we have some persons in our 50s. So, sorry, I'm 50. I'm going to be 51 in a couple of weeks. But we have persons who are in 50s, nearly 60s, so they do it. The challenge is sometimes it's the technology, but they get a lot of support with that as well. So
this is very exciting. And Dr. Livette Scott, Dr. Kyla Kurian, thank you so much for being here to tell us all about it. We hope people are listening to it. And 3 options there in the counselor education program at North Carolina Central University. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Dr. Kyla, you can say to people, not only do you hear Guardian Radio, you've been on Guardian Radio.
And I will say, this is not my first time.
Yeah, she was. This is the third time.
Okay.
Well, Chicago line.
That's right. Yeah,
2 years. No, 2 years ago, though. It was 2 years ago, but she was on yesterday with us.
Wonderful.
Because we were talking about infertility.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, look at that.
And Dwight, I want to shout out to my 30 and worthy nursing celebrations. I forgot to say that. Hi, hello to you. We're celebrating 30 years. Yes, I'm a nurse as well from the College of the Bahamas, then College of the Bahamas, which is now University of the Bahamas. We're celebrating 30 years of nursing.
Excellent stuff.
A different topic.
Wow. Okay.
Thank you.
Dr. Livette Scott, you're making us proud. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Both of you. All right. Dawn, and Dawn has to go. Dawn, have a great one. I'm going to be back in a few minutes with Morning Blend Business. We are kicking off our monthly series with the Consumer Protection Commission coming up. Stay with us.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's there. It's the start of the end of the old way. Revolution. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
It's Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas. 96.9 FM, fresh news, smart talk, all day. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Tuesday, May 10th, 2022. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan, and this morning we're very excited. We're kicking off a new monthly series here on Morning Blend Business. We're calling it Consumer Voice. Let's talk, and this is with the Consumer Protection Commission, and we are very pleased to be doing this every second Tuesday each month. And joining us in studio, we've got the operations manager, Michelle Carroll. We've got research officer, LeVay Darling. And we've got from the board, the director of public relations and marketing, Nino Newbold. Great to see you all again. Good morning.
Thank you, Dwight.
All right. So let's begin with just setting it up for how the series is going to go. And we know we're going to have a lot to talk about every month. There's a lot happening. Hurricane season is coming up too, so we're going to touch on that today and probably get into more of that next month. But let's talk about it. I know last time you were on, there were so many questions about what comes before your commission as opposed to some of the others, and I guess people need to know the differences and what is under your purview.
Yes, thank you, and good morning, Bahamas. Dwight, as we begin this series, this monthly series, we just want to say our aim and objective from the Consumer Protection Commission is to educate and inform consumers. As you know, we truly believe in our motto that an informed and educated consumer make wise choices. Mm-hmm. And so that's what we're going to do during these monthly series. And you'd be surprised, Dwight, to know the amount of consumer issues that the Bahamian public has. Mm-hmm. And they come into our office or call into the office. And while we don't, the cases might not be related to Consumer Protection Commission, but we still try to have them, referred to the different agencies. And that's what we hear this morning. We're going to talk about the different agencies that have consumer-related functions. Mm-hmm. And that is very, very important because, they have the issues, but they're not related to consumer protection, but they want them to be redressed. Mm-hmm. And that's our job, is to educate and to assist. And so we would like to, to just touch a little on that as best as we can this morning. And so, Mr. Darling.
Hi.
Thank you very much, Ms. Carroll. Good morning, Bahamas. As Ms. Carroll indicated, we get a lot of complaints relating to different agencies, and so it's our responsibility to direct them in the proper direction. So this morning we really just wanted to give some information on those other agencies that also has a consumer protection function. And we're going to begin with those agencies, what we call our sister agencies that are also part of the Ministry of Economic Affairs that we are now a part of. And we'll begin with your favorite agency, Dwight, which is Consumer Affairs Unit. That's where you have the price inspectors, right? And of course, they deal with price control items or issues, right? And so that's Consumer Affairs Unit. There actually also has a price commission. So the price commission and Consumer Affairs Unit work hand in hand. And they are located on Carmichael Road, the Service Road. You can reach them at 361-4239 with any infractions of the Price Control Act and its attendant regulations. They also has an email address, and you can reach them at pricecontrol@bahamas.gov.bs. And that's how you reach them with your infractions to price control items, bread basket items.
Can you answer this, or would I need to speak to them? I mean,
well, depending on what it is.
Yeah. Okay. Which prices? What type of prices? Like, is it everything, or only certain items that fall into them?
Well, let me assist you with that. Let me refer to price control. It's a specific list of items called the bread basket list. So what that means then is that every item in the store is not price controlled, right? So the legislation doesn't speak or doesn't have any control over non-price controlled items, right? The only thing an inspector would do when they go on an inspection is make sure that it's priced. That means that the consumer should be able to see what the price is. Well, now, of course, they have these scanners, right? So they're evolving from sticker prices to actually barcodes being scanned. And the issue with that is that there's never sufficient bar scanners, right? I have to go through aisle after aisle trying to figure out the price of an item.
Them don't work.
Right, and instead of, going to the cashier at the end of the day and can you tell me the price of this? Then when you hear void or something like that, right? So to avoid that, but I think the stores need more bar scanners in the aisles, right? There's definitely insufficient. If they're going to evolve from the sticker on the item,
right,
then it's their responsibility to have sufficient bar scanners in the stores.
Yeah. Now, I know we've had some industries that come on and tell us that they are price controlled, as in they can't mark up their stuff beyond a certain amount. Does that fall into this commission, or is that more to do with the ministry?
Yeah, that is actually the Consumer Affairs Unit. They police that, right? And so, yes, they are correct. If the items that you're selling is price controlled, for example, I'm sure Commissioner Nuba will speak to that because, as we know, the gas stations and the petrol, is price controlled. So what that means is that they have to apply to the minister, right, for an increase in their prices because it is regulated.
All right, so that does happen. Yeah. Okay.
And so, Dwight, at this time, this is where I bring in NEMA, and what happens when the storm or impending storm is coming. You have the price gouging going on, and so we want to caution those persons too that, and we also want to let consumers know now is your time to prepare. Buy your canned items, your water, and don't wait for the business to put the price gouging on you. Now is the time. We started early this year, and the hurricane is starting earlier each year, and so we want the consumers to now make preparation, get your food items, so that at the end of the season, you won't have to come to Price Commission for the price gouging. So now is your time to be prepared.
So I have a question before you go on. So we are already seeing the prices and everything go up.
Yes.
And people are saying it's just because of the shipping issue, it's because of whatever. How do you know, how can we be assured that that is the reason, or people just aren't taking advantage of what is happening out there? And are your agencies doing this, going to make sure, well, we don't know if that's true, there's no shipping issue with this product, and how do we know what's the truth?
Well, Dwight, like I said, this is your favorite agency. We know that, right? Consumer Affairs. This is the one that you always have the most questions for. But I think it has been publicly stated by the authorities that we import inflation.
Yes.
Right? And that's simply because we don't produce sufficient items locally to actually withstand the imported prices. Right? We import just about over 95%, 96%, of the items that we consume. And so if the global inflation that we're experiencing now and that we're seeing, we're going to be impacted by it, and we are impacted by it.
Yes.
And so I would err on the side of caution and say that it is a real situation. It's not locally made. It is a global phenomenon.
Just take out that wallet and pay it.
Yes.
If you want it.
Oh, boy. All right.
Just to add to what Lorraine said about the prices, and you asked also, Dwight, how can we monitor or what is a probably safe set prices for items? Well, we cannot predict, or we're not advising that we are predicting those set prices, but we do say that the price control that is in place for bread basket items, we know those bread, butter, cheese, milk, sugar, those are price control. But what I would say to consumers, to the customers, to shop around, if this store A have this sugar for $2.89 and this next store for $3.89, that's a whole dollar jump over there. The other store has it for maybe $2.69. I'm going to $2.69. So shop around and start to average out your prices as you move through. And
Absolutely.
like what Lady Carol said earlier, we are in hurricane season. We are going to begin hurricane season June 1st. And all of us relatively knows the prices of items around, and the government is trying now to help to try to keep some of the prices down with the wholesalers, as the Honorable Prime Minister met with them a few weeks ago. So you should know, as we go into the season, how prices will be jumping. Keep your eyes and your ears open and watch the price when you go into food stores.
And report them.
And report them
to the relevant
for
agencies.
outrageous prices. Then one point, the BBSQ, Bahamas Bureau of Standard and Quality, as it deals with the scales and meters in food stores and service stations, they go around every 6 months. They make their way around the whole Commonwealth of Bahamas, and they do a general inspection where food stores have scales in places, and persons bringing stuff into Bahamas to meet a certain quality and standard for the Bahamian market. They evaluate and examine all of that. But in particular at this time that we know that the international market fuel prices are rising, and that will be trickling down to us as we can see it now. Gas is an average of $6.33. Wow. And as we move more closer into the hurricane season, that the ocean gets a little bit crazy and tankers having issues coming over, that's going to help to drive the cost of fuel up. What I want to say with BBSQ, they monitor the fuel dispensers at the service station. There is not a time that you go to any service station inside the Bahamas and you put in $15 gas and you may think that you didn't get $15 gasoline. You would have gotten exactly $15 worth of gasoline, because we are policed. They are policed. Service stations are policed and monitored. When BBSQ come around to service stations, supermarkets, the stickers are on scales, and consumers need to be aware of this. You'll see the big blue and white BBSQ sticker on that scale, on that cash register, on the fuel pump dispenser, on each nozzle. That means that pump has been certified, that has been cleared by BBSQ, and that is giving you the correct amount of gallons of gasoline for your dollar.
Excellent. Yeah. So before you go on again, you said shop around, and I certainly do. I will drive across the island to get that to save $1.
Yes.
But that is very hard with the gas prices the way they are right now.
So speaking,
that one hurts. It hurts.
It does hurt.
But, yeah.
It does hurt. And also too, as Lady Carol talked about, we are going into hurricane season.
Yeah.
And a pet peeve of mine, what I try to advise the consumers, although fuel is $6.33, try to keep your fuel tank at least above half tank of fuel.
Wow.
plan your days of where you are going. It helps you to manage your fuel consumption. Plan your days. When you get up in the morning, I'm going here, there. Do I need to go here? Or I need to go, I can do all that in one. Or shift it around for certain days. It helps you.
Good advice.
Another tip for our motoring public out there is to always fuel in the cooler hours of the day, either early in the mornings or at evenings, right? And the role of BPSQ, especially now with, as Commissioner Luba would indicate, fuel being averaging around $6, about $6. And he did say that you will get your $15, but what might happen is that you're going to get less fuel, of course, for the $15, right? And so the role of BPSQ now and the maturity unit becomes even more important now with fuel being impacted by inflation, right? Because you're going to need to know that, you're getting what you're paying for.
Yeah.
And as the Commissioner has indicated, BBSQ is doing an excellent job in that regard. So we can assure you safely, right, assuredly that if you pay for $15 of fuel, you will be getting your $15 worth, but it might be less gallons because the price of the gallon has gone up. And that's the only reason why.
Yeah.
It's not because you're getting shortchanged at the pump and the pump is not dispensing the proper amount of fuel. It's just that the price went up, right? And so that's important to understand.
Absolutely.
Added to that, gasoline is, we don't want to talk all this about gasoline.
I'll put them at fair.
Yeah, you're not
Put the
fair.
public at fair.
Right. $6.33. So January you were getting $10 gasoline when gas was $4.58. That were 2 gallons of gasoline. Now we're in the month of May, gas is $6.33. You pull up on a pump for $10 gasoline, that's a gallon and 3 point of another gallon of gasoline. So your needle is not going to go up to the quarter tank for $10 gasoline.
That's only enough to get you to another gas station.
Another gas station. And also, too, BBSQ monitors the scales inside the food stores. So all your big supermarkets, even the mom and pop shops, once they are registered legal operating business in the Bahamas, BBSQ visit those establishments and they check their scales to make sure the scales are accurate for when you're purchasing your vegetables, your fruits, even your meat products and so forth. That the scales already been certified.
Even
by
the scanner
BBSQ.
scale, I see they're doing that now.
Yes, even the scanners.
that one?
Yes,
Yeah.
even
Okay.
those scanner scales as well to the cash register as well to all the big supermarkets. They have been leveled off by BBSQ technicians.
And if you find that these things are not happening, you can reach out to BBQS at 362-1748 and contact them, and they will come into those particular stores.
Excellent.
Or you can email them at info@bbsq.bs. Right. So we want to touch on another agency that we call our sister agency, but we're talking about the Rent Control Board, right? And so we go back to the Rent Control Act of
This one could be a
1975.
whole show, maybe two.
Right. And that's
a whole
why
week of shows.
I'm reluctantly mentioning it because technically we really don't have at this moment a Rent Control Board.
Yes.
No, we don't.
Why is that?
And that's because successive governments over the decades have opted not to appoint a rent control board with a rent control commission.
Things that make you go,
Right.
Very
Yeah,
interesting.
and probably that's probably influenced by the fact that there's a recognized need or awareness by our policymakers that this legislation is highly antiquated.
Wow.
Right? It doesn't function well in a 21st century modern Bahamas. It wasn't designed to factor in $500,000 homes and $300,000 homes, a $200,000 lot. It just wasn't designed for that, right? And so the prices that they're enforcing or the thresholds that the legislation speaks to doesn't exist anymore.
Wow.
Right? And so it's within that parameter and those paradigms that price control inspectors now seek to function. And so what they've been doing, the price control unit has become the de facto really rent control board because we feel all of our questions that come into us Consumer Protection Commission relating to rent control matters actually to the Consumer Affairs Unit.
My goodness.
Right? And they try to assist as best they could. Right? I know for a fact that they do go out and investigate and do their due diligence. They visit the premises if needs be. And there's provisions, of course, to take a landlord to court. The legislation does provide for that. And a few times when I was at the courts, I know that they were actually, airing some rent control matters, right? Landlords taking off the doors and windows and stuff like that. That's still illegal, right? That's still illegal, right? And so a consumer who is a tenant really still does have recourse about those type of drastic infractions. Landlord want you out the place and you go home and your door off. That's illegal.
And Dwight, I just want to add to what Levade is saying, that during the storm, we had a lot of calls and complaints in regards to landlords, and we dealt with a lot of cases just because we're consumer protection, not that because, the rent control board was not in existence, and we had to go out and help a lot of consumers, and they were more than grateful because there's and we've seen the necessity of it. We keep raising it to every minister that we need this board in place.
Yeah. Is there any indication that the new administration is going to be looking at the legislation and trying to do something about this? Can our board member Nino Newbold talk about this?
That's a question that we'll get back to you on the way.
Yeah.
But I do know that our chairman is looking at some other areas that we can expand
Yes.
our footprints
Okay.
to better help and service our consumers.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
added to what Lady Carol said and Lorraine said about persons with the rent control issues and challenges, again, that's another area to shop around.
Yeah.
Now, I know my experience a few months ago, I was blown away by my landscaping guy because I live in the eastern district of the island. Oh, Mr. Newbold, the landscaping here is a little bit more than the landscaping in Central. I like, really? Wow. But you're doing the same thing. I was living at this location, moved to another location now. It almost like doubles. I like, wait a minute, let me calculate this now. You adding some fertilizers in my yard after you finish? So after I started to threaten it, okay, I'm going to shop around. Then he comes down and he adjusts the prices that what I'm accustomed to paying.
Yes.
But I would say to the person, because you live in different areas now, we know what all the social things are going on inside the country. But shop around. I know the landlords, they invest in their homes. These are their investments.
Yes.
So they want to get return for their investment, ROI. But however, you as the consumer who are going them as a customer need to negotiate, but also shop around to see if you looking for a certain area, you're going to be faced with a certain area fees. If you're looking for this area and it's safe that you think you can be there for a month or two or a year or so, whatever, then fine. If this is in your budget, but however, shop around.
Yeah. Did he ever explain why it was different? Was the yard much bigger or something? Or
the yard was not bigger. No, the yard was a little bit bigger. But however, I understood because when I did some checks as well, Life Key is different than
Yes.
Coral Harbor is different. Eastern Road is different. The Treasure Cove
sounds
is
like
totally
they're just
different.
making assumptions based on how much they think people make.
Correct. And because of where you live, so they have this.
Wow.
And it is known with these guys that the different demographic of people can afford to pay different. It's not a set prices, and it's the same thing with renting your units. You see.
Yeah.
It's where it's located and the demographic purposes that you're going after.
Well, that's very interesting you bring this up because it goes back to price control. We keep
Yes.
hearing that the
Yes.
supermarkets, even depending on where they're located,
Yes.
there are different products, different prices
Correct.
there.
Correct.
Do you all monitor that, regulate that, or does price control the consumer? What happens there? Are they supposed to?
That would not be regulated.
Yeah. No. Wow.
That's just something that you have to be aware of. And once you're aware of it, you educated yourself on it, and then you would be in a much better position to be able to maneuver when it comes to stuff like that. And I want to touch briefly again on the rent control and tenants, right? In terms of a consumer tip, I cannot stress this strongly enough. But if you're renting from your tenant, your lease agreement is a very important document for you to have. That protects your rights as a consumer and as a tenant. Never move into somebody's place without a lease agreement. And never just sign a lease agreement because it might be skewed in favor of the landlord.
Yes.
And your rights might not be in there. Once you sign it, you agree to everything that what you have signed, right? And so you can negotiate the terms of your lease agreement, right? I would like to see this in here. Why isn't this in here? Right? I'd like to see more protection in this area. You can do that. You can negotiate your lease agreement. You don't have to just sign it just because they present it to you, because it's more than likely skewed in their favor. And so as a consumer, as an educated consumer, you have a right, right, to say, I would like to see or have this added. It's negotiating, right? And if it's an intelligent landlord, I don't think they would have a problem with negotiating, the terms of a lease agreement, because they actually want you to be happy as a tenant anyway, right? And so I don't see that being a major issue.
Yeah.
It's just that people don't know, and so they just become the victim of ignorance.
And that's why we're here, to inform them and educate. And one of the another big one, Dwight, for us at Consumer Protection is the insurance company of the Bahamas. And you know they come out during the storm. You have a lot of issues regarding payment on time, or the insurance company take forever. But when it's time for you to pay those payments, they want them up front. But this is a big issue for us, and the insurance companies really deal again too with cases against persons. We had just last week, Levade will tell you that we had a walk-in person who wanted to sue a particular doctor and for some insurance monies, and he came into us, and we were the wrong person, but we didn't leave him there stranded. We got on the phone, we called the insurance company, and we assisted as best as we can, that he was on his way there to file his complaint. And so we caution these insurance companies. We have a lot of work to do with them too, and that is on our list too, to go behind them too, and to work with them. First of all, we want to say we want to meet with them firstly, and then express the things we would like to see happen for consumers. And so that's a big one for us.
Wow. Okay, you can imagine.
Yes.
Yes. Following up on what Ms. Carroll would have said, right? We realize that we have to develop better relationships with our sister regulatory agencies.
Yes.
Right? And because we should not be really working in isolation or in silos, as is so common the case, right? And so the Insurance Commission, of course, is the agency of government that is tasked with regulating and policing the Insurance Act, right? And so any complaint against an insurance company, and, we're in the middle of hurricane season, so one of the most common ones that comes to every hurricane season is, I was insured for this amount, I was expecting this amount, my place got damaged, and they only want to give me this couple dollars, right? That's a legitimate complaint. And so the proper agency to air or police that or investigate and bring you the redress that you're seeking is the Insurance Commission of the Bahamas.
Yeah.
And so I would just want to give out their contacts, because we jumped ahead, so it's on my other page. But but they can really actually be reached at 397-4183 or info@icb.gov.bs. And I'm sure they'll be more than happy to assist you with your insurance questions.
All right, so I see the one that you jumped ahead of. That's a big one.
Yeah.
We'll get back to that in a second.
Sure.
Let's take this call, and then we've got to take a break, and then we'll come back to that one.
Yes.
Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. How you doing?
Doing well.
Wonderful. All I tell folks out there, get together with your family members, church members, friends, and go to the wholesale places and buy in bulk and share it up. You'll get it much, much more cheaper. And like he said, some food stores, I'm not going to call no name, the prices are ridiculous. Then it comes down to fruit. Let me ask them, is fruit and vegetable duty free? Do the companies, the food stores, get them duty free?
No.
No.
Well, I think some of them
Just
are.
the local ones.
Just a local.
Yeah.
Well, if you're not importing anything,
Right.
of course there wouldn't be any duty.
Some fruits are duty free. Some of them are.
That's what I'm saying. But you check the prices. It's like it's not passed on to the consumers. The prices are so high. Some places you go, they selling the same green apples, $2 a pound for one apple, or you're paying up to for a pound. One apple, you're paying up to $2. That's why I'm saying go to these food wholesale places. You buy the cases and you share between 4 or 5 people. You save a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, you save so much money. And I get to shop around. That's the best thing to do. Another thing, what I think the government should do, because, you know, a lot of people in this country they're limited when it comes down to buying plywood and stuff. The government should stock up on plywood when the hurricane season comes. I'm talking about the less unfortunate, get them at a big discount price or something like that. Because you start buying your shutters now, because the prices can go up on plywood and wood. If you want to talk about buying shutters, it can skyrocket. And that's something like nobody is checking on that. Every time hurricane season comes, if a plywood is $10, I just using a figure, they go up to $14 a sheet for plywood.
Okay.
So it got to be more vigilant. The people who are, checking these prices in these stores. And lately, you don't hear nobody getting locked up or going to jail or going to court unless they're doing it in secrecy.
All right, caller. Thank you very much. Appreciate
You're
it. One of the challenges is, I think, you notice the price fluctuates a lot, but I think that's when we are buying out of season.
Yes.
Correct.
And so
And
so
supply
keep that in
and
mind.
demand as well.
Yeah.
So the demand is there. It's going to drive the prices up for it.
Yeah.
Because we buy it at the height of the season.
Yes. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll get to IRCA, the regulator for us as well. So and telecommunications and lots of issues there. We're going to get into that after the break. We are talking with the Consumer Protection Commission. We've got a new series here once a month on Morning Blend Business. We're going to be back after the break. Stay with us.
Wait, you know what's going down tomorrow?
Nobody, what happening?
Joe bringing these knives to school. He could do Junior in.
For what?
Wait, he fooled with Joe girl.
Mother sick. And you know, Junior don't bark down for nothing. So that means you got a big fight tomorrow.
So whose side you on?
Side? I trying to stay in school, not Simpson Pen. We gotta tell somebody about this fight.
Tell somebody? I ain't no snitch. I mean cool, you know.
Wait, if you so cool, then you need to stay in school and stay out of the fight.
Yeah, but if I don't hang on Joe's side, him and these boys coming for me next.
All right, so we definitely gotta tell somebody. We gotta prevent the fight.
What I say, I don't want nobody call me snitch.
We could just call Crime Stoppers. You could report what you know, and nobody gotta know it's you.
So how did it work?
All you gotta do is call them, or you text them through the Crack Crime Bahamas app, and nobody can know it's you.
Then the police come looking for me for more info, and when they finish with them, Joe them coming looking for me?
When you call Crime Stoppers, the calls go directly to Miami, and they don't ask nothing about you. Then you can get the pen from them, and they can claim a reward later using that same pen.
Plus, everything's scrambled, so nobody can read what you're saying.
Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands.
History has taught us that in crisis, humanity will always respond with innovation. What world-changing technologies will emerge from humanity's latest challenges? How can the Caribbean capitalize on the metaverse, blockchain, hybrid work, and more? Join us at the RF Economic Outlook Conference under the theme Future Forces, World-Changing Ideas, where we will explore the future of work, investments, technology, and more. The journey begins on June 8th. Reserve your seat today at www.rfeoc.com.
Play this record as frequently as possible.
Friday, May 20th, it's time to feel good.
It's Star 106 and Four Walls.
Feel Good Friday.
Classic.
The Star 106 Anniversary Edition.
Happening at the Four Walls Squash and Social Club Village Road.
It's the after work.
I got so early vibes.
Vintage.
Block party.
Exclusively for the grown and sexy.
With the best in throwback classics.
Happening at the new Outdoor Terrace Bar at Four Walls.
Limited tickets on sale now at the Nassau Guardian and Four Walls for $20 in advance.
Come out early to enjoy the open room bar from 5 to 6 p.m.
This is a strictly cashless party.
So bring your old school dancing moves with your new school payment options.
Feel Good Fridays. Friday, May 20th.
Ready to save? You can put $100 into the CFAL Savings Express plan and make sure your money keeps growing. Earn interest on your savings while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
The city of Miami is waiting for you, and Island Pay wants to take you there. Yes, you heard that correctly. Island Pay is giving away 5 priceless trips to Miami for 2 people just for using your MasterCard prepaid card. Every $30 you spend gets you a chance to win. Whether it's on groceries, gas, diapers, clothes, gifts, online, and others, it's all counting and getting you closer to an unforgettable experience in Miami. Don't have an Island Pay MasterCard yet? No problem. Get yours today. And Island Pay will give you $15 back. Island Pay, a better way to pay, a better way to win. Promotion running March 21st to May 18, 2022. Conditions apply. Visit islandpay.com to learn more.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9 Morning Blend Business. We are talking consumer issues in our segment this morning with the Consumer Protection Commission. Our new series here, Consumer Voice, Let's Talk. Every second Tuesday of the month, we've got in studio with us Michelle Carroll, LeVay Darling, and Nino Newbold. All right, so, IRCA.
Yes, I know you wanted to touch on IRCA. IRCA, of course, is also a regulatory agency. And what happens is that any consumer who has a complaint against a utility, that would fall under the remit of IRCA, right? And so one of the common ones that we get from time to time is a consumer comes in, BPL had a power surge, and I can say BPL because they're a monopoly. We don't live in Freeport, so we're not talking about Freeport Power, but and of course, I don't think they're regulated by IRCA. Go figure. It's been in the courts now for, 10 years? You're in the media, so you should know, right? But let's say you had a power surge, your sensitive equipment was damaged, and you want to make a claim against, your power provider. IRCA would require first that you try to, just like us at CPC, that you try and resolve it first with the utility provider, right? So that's important. And what I would recommend too is that email them. The reason why I'm saying that is a record, right? Too many times we get cases where, well, I spoke to this one and they said this and then it gets into you say, I say, because you cannot verify what was actually said, right? And so I would recommend, right, that you try emailing them, even if everybody should be able to have access to the internet and email now, or the old-fashioned way of writing them a letter, right? And the reason for that is that you want to have something on the record to say that I tried to resolve it and they were uncooperative. In order to verify that they're being uncooperative, of course, you examine the response that you got from the utility provider, right? Same with BTC or with cable. Right, I didn't have any internet for most of the month, and my bill is still the same. Right, my telephone was off for 3/4 of the month, but my bill is still the same. Those are legitimate consumer complaints.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Right,
Yes.
and so the agency that you would go to is IRCA, and you can reach them at 393-0234, and they also have a very excellent website. Actually, you can actually make a complaint online, right? And so www.ircabahamas.bs. Right, that's how you reach IRCA.
We also have, Dwight, a very good partnership with them. We partner in a lot of activities together with IRCA, and we're having a courtesy call soon, very soon, there to again come together and how best we could collaborate on matters for the consumers.
Yeah, and IRCA is always on our program. But I do want to ask this. Okay, so if you don't have a specific to you problem, we've been hearing over the past few weeks, many people are saying widespread outages. So, this service has been off in this area. What do you do in that situation? Should you still take it upon yourself, even though it's thousands of people who are complaining, to send an email there? Or can't the regular just take it upon themselves to say something is wrong, what's going on? Why aren't you telling the public what's happening?
That is a question, Dwight, that we have. That we would like to present to IRCA, that we need to hear more, from you when these matters arise. The other night, it was a shutdown, practically the whole country. This is where, people called us. We're calling Consumer Protection Commission. And so really, you should be calling IRCA, but we are going to talk about these things with IRCA. Can't we hear from you more? Can't we hear from you? And the consumers need to hear from you more.
Because the utility companies aren't speaking.
Yes, because they're not responding.
They're rarely saying.
So, the push needs to come from IRCA. Yes.
Okay.
But with regard to the example that you gave, Dwight, and just picking up where Ms. Carroll left off, that type of complaint would not really be a individual complaint.
Right.
That's like a whole neighborhood or
half
combination of
the island.
neighborhoods,
Right.
all of the east. So that is something that you can actually go directly to IRCA for.
You can go to them for that. Okay.
Right, and because it wouldn't be an individual really complaint. Right, and I'm sure they would be aware of it. The reason they're depending on you actually to bring it to their attention. And so, I would say bring that to their attention. Let them know that it's impacting not just me as an individual, but my entire community and my surrounding communities. Everybody's impacted and affected. And so the consumer has a right to sustainable, uninterrupted power, right? And that's why you pay your utility bill. So that's a reasonable expectation to expect from a provider of power, right? Reliable, efficient.
Not only
power.
IRCA, we don't want to get too much on BPL because you have the other day BTC. It hurts my heart to say that. I've spent 30 years there. But BTC Alive, we're having issues with them, the cable freezing, that sort of thing. So not just BPL. We need to go after all of these companies, there. So just want to put that in.
And we love them all because they're all great sponsors of this program and all, right? But we just want you all to be better.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, it's truly better.
Right. All right. So that's good.
What I would add to Lady Carol and Levine's point with IRCA and the service providers in the country is say to consumers, do not get tired of writing and calling the various agencies, the service providers, to launch your complaint. If you can, Wade said, send an email. I would even say if you can't have access to an email because the service provider for the internet is down, walk that letter in to the various persons and hand deliver it, and you keep a copy of it. We cannot get tired because persons just the other day listening to the international media, they were protesting outside a lawmaker, a congressperson's house. Protesting outside the house. We need to get to the point in the Bahamas as consumers that we continue to lobby our voices, come together and say, look here, if the electricity company having challenges and they're not saying anything to us, we need an explanation of what's going on. The communication providers, them having challenges, they need to say something to us. I must say, when I heard Cable said they're going to open up the whole cable network for the weekend, free HBO, free this, I was like, oh yes. It cost me late for work once or twice, but hey, they recognize they had a challenge.
That was pretty interesting.
And they gave it back to the community, and that's what we need to start hearing of. So consumers out there, continue to call, continue to launch your complaints. They are listening.
Yeah.
And I know they're trying to get it fixed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
Right.
Excellent points. The final one that I want to touch on, Dwight, that there are many others, but in the essence of time, the Bahamas Investment Authority, and the reason why I want to touch on that one is because we have a plethora, really, of complaints against timeshare companies.
Oh.
Right? And 100%, all of them are actually by tourists, right? And so it is a grave concern for us at CPC that to see that these tourists are given the right information and that they know how to lodge a complaint if they have it against a timeshare property. And of course, that's the Bahamas Investment Authority. They operate out of the Office of the Prime Minister. They are responsible for policing the Bahamas Vacation and Time Sharing Act. And of course, that's the act, of course, that timeshare properties fall under. And you can
What
reach
sorts
them.
of complaints what are you getting?
Well, one of the most common ones is how do you get out of a timeshare, right? Because you were expecting something and you got something else, right? You were expecting this type of property that was shown to you, displayed to you, and when you're in, you find out that it's something totally different.
Wow.
Right? And they're disappointed and they want to know, how do I get out of it? Right?
National
Just
disaster.
It's like you check in, but you can't check out, right? Even though the legislation provides for exit clauses out of a timeshare, right? And so it gets kind of complicated, but BIA is a responsible agency, and you can email them at bia@bahamas.gov.bs or 327-5826-708. And that is really for your foreign listeners, because I'm sure your show goes international, right? And so they need to know, because like I said, all of them basically are tourists, right? And so it's an area of grave concern. We have had discussions with the Ministry of Tourism to bring it to their attention as well, because you're talking about tourists, right? You're talking about the life, blood, the bread and butter, really, of this country. Where tourism is our number one industry. So anything that negatively impacts tourists, every Bahamian, every right-thinking Bahamian should be really concerned about it, right? And CPC is no exception. We take it very seriously.
What about short-term rentals, like Airbnb? I mean, they have their own rules, but other people are doing short-term rentals as well. Would that fall under them, or who does that fall under you all, or who does that fall under?
No, I based on my reading, I think the Office of the Prime Minister, they are in combination, I guess, with tourism, right? They're definitely going to be making those properties viable. I don't know if that's an angle what you're talking about.
No, I mean, if you had an issue, you feel like you got a complaint or something, Yeah.
Yeah, I would say Ministry of Tourism for now, because it's kind of up in the air. You're talking, it's a new industry,
Yeah, it
it's
is
very
relatively.
nascent.
Yep.
Right, and so we don't know really at this time. We cannot, I was always told to get the information and get back to you. And so, Dwight, I will look into that, and I will send you a message and let you know exactly who is the regulator for Airbnb's properties. Right, so that's my homework. I'll get that to you.
And Dwight, very quickly, I know we're winding down. We want to, just throw back out that the Bahamas Medical Council, they regulate medical professionals, and you can reach them. We have complaints coming into Consumer Protection in regards to doctors, pharmacists. Again, during the hurricane, you see all these prices going up, and the pharmacists' prices going up, and so we, the Bahamas Medical Council, we want consumers to know that they can reach them at 323-0342, or you can email them at bahamasmedicalcouncil.org. And this one, I know this one, the lawyers don't like us for this one.
Another whole
we have
show.
the Bahamas Bar Association.
Yes.
They investigate complaints against
Do they
practicing
really?
lawyers. And I'm seeing that they are working, because we see some lawyers going to court and are disbarred. And so we have a lot of complaints into consumers in terms of they went to their lawyers with this and that. And so, but we want consumers to know that if you don't have any monies to hire a lawyer, come to us. We will have your matters redressed also. And so the Bar Association will probably write me tomorrow on that one. But but we want them to know that you have a place to go.
Yeah.
And that's very important. And before we leave, Dwight, I just want to let the consumers know how to reach us again. You can contact us at 393-7795. We have a hotline, 357-5992. Email us at complaints@cpcbahamas.gov.bs. Visit our very active Facebook page where we put information, and we will upload this show, and we will have other tips for consumers. And I also want to say, Dwight, and our website, that's where you can file your complaints too. And Dwight, I also want to say on May 28th, May 28th of this month, we're going to be participating with NEMA. We are members of NEMA's committee, the Hurricane Preparedness, and we would be having an exhibition at the Farmers Market between 8 to 2 p.m., and Consumer Protection will have a booth there. And we would also be taking complaints from consumers during that time. So you could come out, bring your complaint. We always say consumer, no complaint is silly. Because, we always say we're here for the consumers. And that's what we try to do. We put consumers first.
Okay.
And so during the every month that we come, we'll try to educate, inform, and make sure that consumers know their responsibilities as consumers, and also where they can have their matters if it's not for us. That's what we're here for.
Excellent.
We are passionate about what we do at Consumer Protection. We're small, very small. We're hoping to expand, but we're passionate. When you have that passion for what you do and what you love, you make a great office, and that's what we try.
Yeah.
We're rebranding, we're getting there, and that's what we do at Consumer Protection
Wonderful
Commission.
stuff. We're looking forward to this partnership, and I'm looking forward to talking to you every month. Michelle Carroll, LaVey Darling, and Nino Newbold, thank you all for being here this morning. And remember, it's every second Tuesday of the month, Consumer Voice. Let's talk right here on Morning Blend Business. Thanks again.
Thank you very much, Dwight, for having us.
All right. And that is it for us today. Pick up today's Guardian Business section in the Nassau Guardian today for all the business news. And Morning Blend Business brought to you in part by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. We'll be back tomorrow with more Morning Blend Business and Morning Blend right here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, have a great one. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green coming up next.